What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 4for4 Philly Fan Podcast. Glad you guys can hop out to the show. Got a special guest with me, CahtahHaht from TikTok. You know,
Yes, sir.
a great, funny commentator on Philly sports. He knows what he's talking about. I'll let him introduce himself right here.
So I'm CahtahHaht. I'm a 5 for 5 Philly fan, so I got to put the Union in there too. But I'm on TikTok. I have 57,000 followers on there. Kind of blew up overnight, kind of thing. But I love Philly sports. Philly sports is my life. I'm going to school to try to be the GM of the Eagles, so I'll take over Howie Roseman. Um, but yeah, I just overall love sports in general. So I'm glad to be on here with my guy 4for4. So this will be fun.
Yes, sir. And the Union, they're on the come up in Philly sports media. I started to cover it last year a little bit. Don't know too much about it, but it's always a fun thing to learn something new.
Yeah, I know
So
nothing about it either, but let's go Union.
I don't either. Just when they make it, it's a good day. That's
Yes,
all.
sir. Yeah.
But we're going to be talking about some Eagles, talking about some Sixers, where we think that these two teams are at. With the Eagles, we know where they're at.
Yes.
They're at the bottom of the food chain right now in the NFL and in Philadelphia sports in general. With the Sixers, though, we got something. We got something here with this Sixers team.
Yes, we do.
You got great players: Ben
Mhm.
Simmons, Joel Embiid. You got the MVP of basketball, and then you have the Brooklyn Nets signing everybody in the NBA. Old, new, it doesn't matter. They're all going to the Brooklyn Nets. But I think that the Sixers can definitely still make a run at them, and I still think that they can, make it out of the East. You
Yes.
got any thoughts on that?
I think their team chemistry right now is unmatched. That's the one thing that I think is going to hurt, and that's a lot. Kyrie, I'm not sure if he wants to play or what, but he seems like he's taking personal days here and there. And I'm not sure if he still loves the game of basketball or not, which that can definitely hurt them a lot when it comes to playoff time. I'm not sure how how the Nets are going to play in the playoffs. We haven't really seen them with their big three or big four, big five, whatever you call them now. Um, but I think the Sixers, the way they have their depth right now, with Joel Embiid in the lineup, I think they can take them in 7 games. It's not going to be easy at all, but I think they can do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as you said, and we were both alive for the 2017 Eagles, obviously, and that team chemistry, the way that they just took care of business and they did things together as a team. I'm really feeling the same sort of vibe from the 2017 Super Bowl Eagles to this team with just the team chemistry. You have some veterans coming over from a championship team
Yeah.
coming to Philadelphia and Dwight Howard and Danny Green. Same thing happened with Chris Long and LeGarrette Blount. And, they played huge roles in that Super Bowl team. Same way that Danny Green and Dwight Howard are doing the same thing with us. And, I was extremely happy that Danny Green did not get traded at the trade deadline. You know, he has had his moments where he has been, okay, decent. But then he's had his moments where in the last 5 games, he's shooting 51% from the field from 3-point line. I mean, this is what we brought him in here to do. He's not a 3-time champion for nothing. He knows how to win, and, he's very good at it. So, I'm not going to complain when you have a championship guy in that locker room that knows how to get it done. Especially, and you also had a championship winning coach with Doc Rivers. Again, as you said, it's not going to be easy. You have 3 superstars on the other side in Brooklyn, but the team chemistry over there, it's not going to be good when half the guys are sitting on the bench for half of the games. When you have guys every single night playing for the Sixers and Danny Green, Tobias Harris, who's only missed 2 games. Danny Green's played them all. Dwight Howard's played them all. And, once we get Joel Embiid back, I think we're the best team in the East, if not in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Nets have more talent than the Sixers. But in 2017, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they weren't the most talented team. It was their team chemistry that brought them together. And that's the biggest thing. I love the way Doc Rivers is coaching. And that's the biggest difference from this year to last. The coaching that Doc Rivers has had here has been tremendous.
For sure. I mean, Doc Rivers, you didn't win a championship for nothing. And,
Yeah,
when you go to a team like the Los Angeles Clippers, he had the guys to, work around and everything like that, but they were always missing pieces. And then they run into, the dynasty of the Warriors. They have the Miami Heat era of LeBron. They were in a rough spot there with the Lob City Clippers. They didn't translate well to the new aged game of basketball in the 3-point shot.
yeah,
With only JJ Redick shooting the basketball, they didn't even have the 3-point shooting that they had with the 2008 Celtics in Ray Allen. And, you had Tony Allen coming off the bench making some threes, Paul Pierce that could shoot some threes. And I see a lot of this Sixers team in that it is the Celtics, and I do hate Boston, but I see a lot of what this team brings in that 2008 Celtics team. You have the
yeah,
playmaker in Ben Simmons and Rajon Rondo. You have that Kevin Garnett, dominating big man in Joel Embiid. Paul Pierce, just the consistency and the way he brings himself as a leader. That's Tobias Harris, Tony Allen, Matisse Thybulle 2.0. I mean, that we are spitting images of each other. And that team beat Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol, and
hmm
the Lakers. And they are
yeah,
no slouches. They had, superstars on superstars, and it's Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, they get everybody just as they do now. They did back then.
yeah. I agree with you. It's definitely a very similar team. Um, I feel like our big three might be a little bit better than that team was, but I definitely like the Sixers. They found their identity a little bit. Last year was like when they were on the road, they had no motivation at all, and it seems like even when they lose, even when they lost last or the other night to the Clippers, they still showed up. They didn't get blown out. They played hard to the buzzer, which that's all you can ask for.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're missing Joel Embiid for the last 10 games, 7 games, whatever it was, this team is really taking care of business. They beat
Yes.
the shorthanded Lakers. They beat the shorthanded Warriors. They're beating teams that they're supposed to beat in games that they would have lost last year. And that is 1,000%, the truth. And, you
Mhm.
just kind of said it. This team shows up every night. They have heart. They play until the last second of the game, no matter if it's a win or a loss. They're going to play their hardest because Doc Rivers doesn't take that. He
Yeah.
he knows what it takes to win. Brett Brown, on
Mhm.
the other hand, you know, he didn't, and he let the team kind of just do what they want. He let players do what they want, and in the end of the day, you know, you go back to Jimmy Butler. He says, it was really that Brett Brown or him decision, and the Sixers chose Brett Brown. Well, Jimmy went to the finals, and Brett Brown got fired, and he still doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
So,
I
and
mean, I'm under the impression if they had Brett Brown that year with Jimmy Butler, they would have won the championship.
yeah,
I think they
for
would have.
sure. I mean, you switch coaches out from Doc to Brett, you're
I
winning a
mean, yeah,
championship.
yeah. Doc is clearly going to be a Hall of Fame coach, and
Oh yeah, I
I
mean,
think that Brett Brown's still a below 500 coach.
yeah, I mean he was good in the patient waiting game, but it didn't work when it came down to winning. You had a great looking team last year in Al Horford, Josh Richardson, and the big three that we have now, but they didn't do what this team is doing today.
Yeah.
Embiid did not look the same as he does now last year.
No.
And, I think that has a lot to do with Doc Rivers and Brett Brown. That Brett Brown effect really might have hurt the chemistry of this team, and it just kind of pushed the players away.
Yeah, they were talking about like I remember last year like, oh, Ben and Joel don't work together. I haven't seen that this year at all. I think they're very complimentary this year, and I think they were just tired of Brett Brown, and I think they just held on to Brett Brown way too long, and that's probably hurting the Sixers a little bit for a couple years, because maybe they do win a championship, maybe they do make the Eastern Conference Finals. Like it's just, and last year in the bubble they just didn't. I mean, I know Ben got hurt, but they didn't look good at all.
Nah, they didn't. Their defensive scheme, everything was just when the bubble started, it just did not look good at all.
Yeah.
And that's just as simple as it could be.
How do you feel about the George Hill trade?
Yeah, I was just about to ask you. I like it. Now, do I think the Sixers could have made another move? I think they could have, but I think it's smart to get that veteran guard off the bench. You have Shake Milton, and I think Shake's doing a great job of what he's been doing this year. I also think Furkan and all the guys that come off the bench, I think they have been doing a very good job.
Yeah.
But George Hill, when he's taking the ball and you add that other ball handler, and he's a great 3-point shooter, as we see from his stats. He's going to really work with this team. And again, he's a veteran. He knows how to win. He hasn't won a championship, but he's been on some pretty good teams in the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks last year, and he's been a very good role player his entire career.
Yeah. I was a little upset with trade when it first went down because of the fact that Tony Bradley left. I thought that Tony Bradley could have been a very solid bench center for this team for years to come. Because after this year, Dwight Howard's probably done. I think he'd probably hang up the shoes. But now that I see it, now that pretty much all the players from the trade got cut, obviously the Sixers look like winners at this point. But we'll see once he plays, because we still haven't seen him play yet.
Yeah,
got to get healthy.
Injury. It's kind of crazy. But you also have the buyout where you could definitely see some 3-point shooters get bought out. Wayne Ellington is a guy that I've wanted for the last 3 years here in Philadelphia. He can just shoot the ball. That's all I care about. If you can shoot it and make it, that's all I care about. And he lights us up every single time we play him. So why not get him in the red, white, and blue Sixers uniform and let him do what he has done against us for the last however many years we've been contenders, the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the buyout can definitely be big.
Yeah. Mike Scott needs to go on the bench permanently. I'm done with him.
Yeah.
Put Paul Reed out there, like do something. But I saw he was like the last 35 possessions, players are like 8 for 9 from the field against him, and it's like, that's not good. And he can't shoot right now either.
Oh, dude. I mean, I love Mike Scott as a person. I've done multiple things. I have his jersey. I have a Mike Scott jersey. He gave me his arm sleeve after a game once, and for that I'll forever love Mike Scott. But at this point in time in his career, we need to win, and he's not gonna be the guy that can help you win a championship right now. This isn't the 2019 Sixers where he was making shots. This is the 2021 Sixers where you gave him that contract, and it's hurting you at this point in time.
Yeah, he's almost like a liability out there at this point, and it's a shame. I wish they did have another power forward on the roster who could play. Hopefully that's Paul Reed, but we just don't know until they actually play him, or maybe even pick somebody up in the buyout market. But
yeah,
they need more depth there at center and power forward, because if Dwight Howard keeps getting thrown out of games, that's going to be an issue too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, just stop pushing people at this point, Dwight. But I don't even know what happened at that Clippers game. I mean,
I was asleep, so I didn't see it.
I guess I think he just hurt somebody's feelings, like one of the refs. I mean, you had Tony Brothers out there, and in my book, if you know the referee's name, he can't be that good.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But
I mean, he got thrown out the last 2 games. The one game I guess see, but Trez didn't even get a technical, so I don't know.
It's like, what are you doing at that point? Like, just go to the bench or something. Like,
yeah, there was no need to bump into each other. I mean, just go to the bench and go out on the next possession. Can't lose a guy that's our biggest need at the time with no Joel Embiid out of the game. I mean, it just can't happen.
Yeah, you can't have Mike Scott playing 25 minutes. It's just, that's not going to help.
Can't happen. And the Knicks are not better than the Sixers, Chris. I mean, that's just not a thing.
It's pretty obvious he's a bandwagon by looking at his Buccaneers picture there, but the Knicks haven't beat the Sixers in like 3.5 years, so
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know about that.
they're just not like that. I mean, Ben Simmons is the king of New York.
Yeah, he
You know,
is.
he doesn't lose
Never
again.
lost. Yeah.
And
It's pretty
Julius
sad.
Randle is not the MVP. I don't know where that narrative came from Knicks fans, but he will not and will never be the MVP of basketball.
Never.
And this won't happen either. Second round, Knicks, Sixers. Knicks win in 5. Where are you picking up those 4 wins from?
Where are the Knicks getting the playoffs?
I mean, is Joel Embiid going to be back? I don't think so. I'm guessing
No.
probably next week, after this long road stand.
Yeah, they can't rush him back. They gotta just.
It's
They're playing well right now.
You might just have to chalk up the MVP and say, all right, let's just go into the playoffs fully healthy. Do what you got to do. If you're ready, go out there. But you can't have this guy not play in the playoffs. This team is contending now for the number 1 seed, but it doesn't really matter when you don't have Embiid for the playoffs. I mean, teams are going to come at Mike Scott all game long.
Yeah, it's not worth it to put all your effort in and get the number 1 seed when you should be putting your effort in the playoffs more than anything. You don't want to get more players hurt during the rest of the regular season when the playoffs is what matters.
Yeah.
Who cares if we get a 2 or 3 seed? Just win the playoffs.
I mean, would MVP be nice? Of course it would. But, if it doesn't happen and we win a championship, I'll take a championship over an MVP all day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at Giannis the last couple of years. He's won the MVP. Have they won a championship? No.
No. Appreciate you, Vince.
Yes, sir.
What kind of players are on the buyout market? We don't even know yet. Obviously, you had Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge get bought out by their teams, and they both went to the bandwagon Brooklyn Nets. But I'm guessing guys like Wayne Ellington are going to get bought out. I don't know if the Sixers will buy anybody out. Maybe Mike Scott, and you free up that space to sign Wayne Ellington. But
watch Al Horford get bought out.
Yeah, did you see he got benched for the rest of the year?
Yeah, like I'd assume they're gonna have to buy him out or do something with him.
Not us.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd bring him back to Philly as a bench piece. Why not?
I mean, with Doc Rivers, anything is possible. And maybe off the bench, he's better than he's averaging.
I mean, he's better than Mike Scott off the bench for sure.
Oh yeah. And I don't like Al Horford, but I would take him if he was definitely going to help. Okay, sure. But
I don't like Al Horford at 4 years, $140 million. I like Al Horford at a minimum contract.
Yeah, because when you have Dwight Howard putting up better numbers than Al Horford did last year on a veteran minimum and making more impact, maybe not better numbers, but definitely a more impactful player than Al Horford was last year to the veteran leadership aspect of it all.
Al Horford just didn't fit with Embiid in the starting lineup. I think that was the biggest problem.
And then, of course, as soon as we started to figure things out, the league shut down.
Yeah.
Nets, Sixers in 5. It's not going to be in 5. It's probably 7.
It's going to be a 7-game series for sure.
I think that 7-game series, depending on who's the number 1 seed at the end of the year, is going to win that game. If the Nets are in Brooklyn for Game 7, then the Nets might have us. But when you add that Philly factor into it all,
yeah, good night.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, I've been in that building for playoff games.
Yeah,
and it's literally shaking the entire time.
I was there for the last time they played the Nets in the playoffs.
Yeah, Mike Scott was actually good then, and he hit that game winner. Yeah, I need him MVP'd too, because I know that's what you were trying to say.
Honestly, who cares if he wins MVP? What's he got to prove? If he wins a championship, that means a lot more than MVP in my book. Finals MVP sounds a lot better than just MVP.
Yeah, I mean, if you win the Finals MVP and if you win the championship, that's something that nobody can ever talk about ever again. I mean,
Yeah.
that is you were the top of the game and you won it. You were the best NBA player that season on the best NBA team.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
Especially if he beats the Nets and
And the Lakers.
and the Lakers or the Clippers.
I mean, that could be one of the greatest finals runs ever.
Yeah.
Beating a super team back to back. Because now you got Andre Drummond, even though he is Embiid's child. It doesn't matter. You still have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and I think we would have an easier time with the Lakers than the Nets personally. But
Yeah.
unless LeBron two-hand shoves Embiid again, I don't think.
Oh man.
I don't think. I don't know if I'm gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah. Wayne Ellington would be a good pickup for sure. I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even know who else would be bought out at this point. I mean, I know I did see something about Wayne Ellington getting bought out.
I know Austin Rivers got bought out, but it looks like he's going to the Bucks.
Yeah, I did see that.
So obviously he doesn't want to play for his dad anymore, which I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to play for my dad either.
Yeah.
But there's that. I've heard Al Horford didn't really like the city of Philly, so I don't see him coming back. Yeah, he's soft.
Yeah, I mean, look, Al Horford, he can do what he wants. He got paid. He absolutely robbed us, and now he's robbing the OKC Thunder, which doesn't bother me at all. Once I saw that trade, I was extremely happy.
Yeah,
I didn't care what we had to give up. If we gave it up, that just opens up room for this off season. It opens up room for a lot of things, and it did in that case.
Yeah, I could care less if Danny Green's streaky. I really could. I mean, you could put Danny Green on the bench and still better than what Al Horford was out there.
Yeah, because you just have $100 million running around not doing what he was paid to do. And instead, now you have a guy on his last, and he still has 3 years on his contract left. It's not like he was up next year, but, Danny Green is. So now you have Danny Green up next year. If you want to re-sign him, okay, go ahead. But
honestly, the way he's playing, I'd re-sign him.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely would. I would re-sign both Dwight and Danny Green, run it back. Especially if we don't win. But, I definitely think that this team has a chance. It's nothing out of the ordinary from a team, that is one superstar player missing. Dirk Nowitzki beat a super team, and it was just him. We have 3 great scorers, or we have 3 great players, 2 great scorers, and probably the most unguardable player in basketball right now.
Yeah.
It's
and probably the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah,
as well.
Definitely. I don't know what I missed yesterday, but I went on Twitter at like 11 o'clock, and it was just, Rudy Gobert and Jazz fans, Ben Simmons lives rent-free in their heads. I was like, did I miss something? Like, I knew that Rudy Gobert was saying that he was the best defender in the league, and then Ben Simmons could guard 1 through 5, but I don't know. I saw like 4 or 5 tweets right back to back, all about Rudy Gobert and Ben Simmons and him just living rent-free in the Jazz fans' heads.
Listen, Rudy Gobert's never going to win a championship. That's all I know.
No chance. I mean, Rudy Gobert is your typical, I will just block a shot center. He doesn't do anything else for me.
No.
Like, he can't score. He can't make a mid-range bucket. He is the smallest player when it comes to, good players guarding him and vice versa.
I'll take Embiid any day of the week over him. Not even close.
Yeah, you got to be on something if you think otherwise.
Embiid's not going to play during the road trip. Yeah, I wouldn't bring him back. I wouldn't bring him back until you need to.
Yeah. We play, Denver and Cleveland in a back-to-back, or not in a back-to-back, but for the last 2 road games. And then you play Minnesota, I don't even know if he needs to play against Minnesota.
Yeah, do you want to rush him back against Cat After the history they have there, is he going to try to pull something? So I don't
Yeah.
know about that
I
either.
mean, the NBA game is something. But
Yeah,
you have a big game April 14th against Brooklyn. So
I'm
do
back
you
for that.
rest him up until there? What do you want to do with Embiid up until that point? I would definitely want him to play. I definitely want him to get back into, basketball shape and everything like that, but don't rush him back to the point of
No.
where this knee injury is going to be a reoccurring problem for the rest of the year or for the rest of his career.
Yeah,
Just let him do what he needs to do.
and we can't forget that that's the same knee he tore his meniscus in. So
Yeah.
we can't have him tearing the meniscus too, because then he'll
Yeah.
be out for the year. So we can't have that
And
again.
and half of next year, which
Yeah,
can't happen.
no.
Any injury updates on George Hill? I have no idea. I know he got thumb surgery while he was with the Thunder. So whenever that timeline was for that team,
I know Maury said days, not weeks.
well, that's good.
Yeah,
I mean, again, George Hill, I definitely see him with, that bench unit along with Tobias Harris. And I think that's when you take Mike Scott kind of out of the rotation a little bit. And,
yeah,
you have Tobias playing the 4 with Dwight playing the 5. And then, we all know what Doc Rivers runs. He runs that 4 bench guys and 1, starter or all bench guys. And I think George Hill will definitely, him, Shake, Furkan, Scott, if necessary, and Dwight Howard is probably going to be, what I'm going to be seeing. And then come playoff time, I think George Hill will definitely make a pretty good impact because, again, he's been there before.
I think Matisse will definitely get some decent minutes too.
Oh, yeah, Matisse. I love Matisse. I was kind of
Yeah.
happy that we didn't trade him as well,
I wouldn't have been too upset if they traded Matisse, or Maxi. I'd rather have a championship now than try to see if these guys can develop into something. I love Matisse's defense, but he's just not there on offense yet.
Yeah,
And
he's literally just not anywhere close to an offensive player, but he's great
Yeah.
defensively.
yeah, yeah, Ben's one of the better facilitators in the league. Yeah, he's got to be more aggressive though.
Yeah.
He just takes nights off.
I
2
think
weeks.
he'll go the same about 2 weeks. I don't even know if Embiid's 2 weeks at this point. I think maybe he is, but I can look up the schedule right now, and I know we play Minnesota when we do come home. I think that's on Saturday or Sunday.
I think that's a realistic timetable for him to be back on Saturday, because that'll be what, 3 weeks at that point.
hmm
Yeah,
So we play a back-to-back. So you're gonna have to pick and choose, one of the games. If he plays a back-to-back, his first 2 games back, I will be shocked. I
yeah.
don't
I would
think
not. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily put him on a minutes restriction, but I'm not gonna play him a back-to-back the first week back.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a possibility at this point. You do, that is on Easter. So you have a Sunday game against Minnesota at home, or on Saturday at home, and then Sunday is against the Grizzlies. You could pick and choose. Me personally, I would like him to return against Memphis. It's a little bit easier of a game. I think there's more. Actually, they're both pretty terrible teams. But again, this isn't up to us. This is up to Doc, and
Yeah.
it's up to Embiid. If his knee's
Sure,
good,
Embiid wants to play right now, but
yeah. But then you have a game. You have a game against Boston on Tuesday. So a week from tomorrow, you have a game against Boston in Boston. I know Embiid is going to want to play in that game. So he might play one of the 2 games this weekend, and we'll see what happens from there. Hopefully he's just good, and we see MVP'd again.
yeah, I hope he's the same player still.
Yeah,
I hope he like didn't gain a bunch of weight again and is not as athletic as he was this year.
yeah.
Because he's definitely a different player this year than he was last.
Oh yeah, definitely. He was a man amongst boys. I mean, he was the best player in the NBA, and I think the entire NBA fandom was starting to realize that.
Yes.
Mike Scott has been horrendous. He has been awful.
Yes.
What is good? Sports talk.
Good.
Let's go, Broads. Or let's go, Birds.
Let's go, Broads.
Yeah, so again, probably this weekend, I would think. I don't think they would, especially, in Denver tonight. I can't see either one of them going, and I don't even think they made the road trip with the team. But, you had the air. You have something wrong with the air in Denver. That's why Embiid really hasn't played many games in Denver. So I don't think either one play tonight. I don't know if either one of them will play in Cleveland on Thursday. I doubt it. But this weekend, you could definitely see, their debut, and two, his return in Embiid. I see Thibault as an X factor versus the Nets because he is a second elite guard defender to the point where you can have Simmons, Thibault, and Harris guard their stars in any order to slow them down.
The problem with that is Simmons has to be aggressive if Thibault's on the floor or else it's going to be 3-on-5 on the offensive end. And sure, you can slow them down all you want, but if you can't score, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you gotta think about this. It's Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. Two of the three of them have been the best scorers in the NBA for the last decade now. At this point, one is a 7-foot, has guard handles and has averaged 30 plus multiple times throughout his career. And same thing with James Harden. They're both MVPs. Kyrie Irving was a huge, huge part on a championship roster with LeBron James.
It's not going to be easy. We know this, but
it's definitely a challenge. But I think if a team that has heart as big as this team, and they really do care for each other, you could definitely see that the locker room is just crazy. I think that this team has a chance, and I'm not ever going to rule out, especially one of my Philly teams. But I think that even as an NBA fan's perspective, I think that this team has a chance to really step up and, take the challenge head on and maybe come out victorious.
Yeah. I mean, how many times do you see a super team like this who looks like they're the best team in the league wind up failing? It happens all the time.
You've seen it multiple times throughout history.
Yeah.
2012 Lakers with Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, Kobe, Pau Gasol. They were the 8th seed in the West. I mean, they weren't even a good team. And, everybody was like, oh, mark them down as the champions. Well, that didn't happen. 2011, you had the Lakers, or you had the Heat. They lost to Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Terry, Shawn Marion. That team had no business winning. And then, you've had this multiple times throughout history. I'm not going to rule anything out until I see the final result.
For sure, yeah.
I totally agree. Simmons slash Thibault together is key against. Yeah, and I agree. But again, as Kata said, Simmons has to be aggressive on the offensive end, not with passing. He needs to take it to the hole every time and score the basketball like we know he can.
Yes, he is. Maybe even get KD or somebody in foul trouble.
Exactly. Just do something, because we all know that as great as those three are offensively, defensively, they've never really been that good. Especially Harden and Kyrie. They can't guard anything.
Yeah.
Durant's just long and, tall. He's going to get his blocks here and there because he can. But James Harden, he can't guard a Ben Simmons. He's 4 inches smaller. He's probably 20 pounds lighter. Well, actually, who knows with James Harden. But definitely with Kyrie, he's 7 inches smaller, probably 30 or 40 pounds lighter. Ben could take it to the line every time.
None of those guys can defend Embiid. So you're going to have one guy on that score who can score for you at any point.
Yeah, no matter who they brought in this buyout period, Drummond, LaMarcus, Blake, you're going to tell me that those guys can guard Embiid. There's not a single player that can guard Embiid. Now you're bringing in 3 guys that he has owned his entire career in to try and guard Embiid. It's just not going to happen.
No, it's not.
That's true, but we're talking holding them to 0 points. But if you can make them miss 2 to 4 shots, yeah, exactly. I mean, if you can
True.
just disrupt their flow of offense, it could go a long way. We Game 7, I hate to bring this up, but he misses that shot, we might be the champs.
Yeah,
If
I agree.
one misses, it's a game of runs and it's a game of misses and makes. And who knows what would have happened if that ball bounced off the rim like it should have.
Yeah.
What's good, Ryan Rowe?
What's up, Ryan?
I don't even see them as a super team. If you go way back into history, because I'm a history nerd, there was a Denver Nuggets team, 79 to 95, who basically averaged 125 a game and made it to the Eastern Conference Finals one time. I mean, yeah. Look, they have no defense. They give up the most points I've ever seen from a team. Teams are dropping 140 on them in regulation.
You know what it's like? The Cowboys.
Yeah.
They got a good offense, but they got nothing on defense.
No defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they lost the Western Conference Final Series.
Yeah.
It's a game of runs. And if the Sixers can go on a run, there is no reason why they would lose. There's no reason why this team can't compete with the Brooklyn Nets. There's just not. No. We're too good for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Drummond signed with the Lakers. I was just saying, like, whoever they brought in, whether it was Drummond, George, or whoever it was, they're not guarding Embiid. And still, you have Drummond in the Lakers uniform. Okay, cool, dude. He's his son. Absolute child. I mean, how could you? Maybe, the rebounds is a lot, but, again, you have DeAndre Jordan, LaMarcus Aldridge, or Blake Griffin on you the entirety of the game. And who are you going to bring in? Nicholas Claxton? You think I'm scared of that guy? No. He's like a sophomore year player who's not going to do anything against a guy like Embiid, who has been here and has done, what he's needed to do to win basketball games.
Yeah.
But we're going to need Embiid to play MVP level against this team. You can't have Embiid playing, the way he did last year against this Brooklyn Nets team. And I think he knows that, and I think he's too good for that at this point in his career. It's going to be
Simmons has to be on top of his game too. They're all going to have to play to their max potential. Toby's going to have to keep making shots. Like, we can't just fall apart. Seth Curry really needs to make his threes.
Yeah, you can't have off nights against a team that has three, could be MVPs at any point in their careers.
Yeah.
And, Kevin Durant is the second greatest or the second best player in basketball right now. I think that anyways.
I agree.
James Harden is not that far behind. But we have a guy that could just be a top 5, top 3 player in basketball when healthy and playing at the level that he was playing this year. And we saw that, as Sixers fans firsthand. We saw that what this guy was doing was something incredible, something special that we haven't seen. I was not even born when Iverson made that finals run. I didn't watch him. This was the first time I really, truly saw an MVP in basketball from Philadelphia.
Yeah. I mean, I was like 1 or 2 when they made the finals run, so I never even saw it. So,
yeah.
But
what's going on with this? Exactly. I mean, Iverson, even though I didn't watch him like that, Iverson's still one of my favorite players just because he's Allen Iverson. Also, to me, the key is our perimeter attack. Our perimeter attack is better than, say, last year, where you were trotting out Josh Richardson technically in terms of experience of a rookie shake, Howell, and that. Yeah, I mean, that team was not competable.
No.
You couldn't throw them out against this Brooklyn Nets team and say, you guys have a chance to win. You just couldn't. We didn't have
That was such a downgrade from the year before, too. You go from Jimmy Butler to Josh Richardson and Al Horford. That's just not good.
Yeah, you had it. And you lost JJ all in that process of, kind of switching around, which, that didn't help.
No, not at all. I kind of wish they got JJ back, but
So did I. But again, as long as he is not in Brooklyn, I don't care because that would have been something else. If he went to Brooklyn,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you had another 3-point shooter. That's something. What is going on, Philly?
Philly news. One of my TikTok guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I gotta hop on the TikTok trend.
yes, sir, for sure.
Gotta do something with TikTok. Now we got Sheik, Seth, and George Hill, and a gazillion times. Yeah,
Yeah,
Doc Rivers is so much better than Brett
yeah.
Brown. It's not even funny. It's not even funny.
No, it's funny. Talent wise, like we didn't get too much more talent than last year. It's just the coaching is just elite.
Yeah,
An elite coach does this.
I mean this. We have the best coaches that I think this city has ever had in their history. Look, except the Eagles, but look at these coaches that you have here in Philadelphia: Joe Girardi, Elaine Vigneault, and Doc Rivers. They've all been there. They've all done it. Oh, AV didn't win, but he's been there multiple times with teams just as built as this Flyers team. I think the city could really have a good stretch of years here, especially in this 2020 era of sports where we're anything but normal right now.
Yeah.
But we're slowly getting back, and I think that this city really does need it. And I think that we have a couple teams here that could do it, could really make this city happy, especially with the Sixers team. I'm very excited to see what the future holds with Embiid and Simmons. And again, we can win any year when you have a guy as good as Embiid and a facilitator as Simmons. You could do it. It's not out of the ordinary. We've seen it before.
Flyers are falling off. Yeah, they are. Flyers are falling off a little bit.
I was on
the
Flyers trend big time last year when they were going crazy in the playoffs. And
why do you think my name's CahtahHaht?
Yeah, I mean, I have a CahtahHaht poster right directly from me. But I'm excited, and as I just said, the Sixers, they can do it. I know they can. I know there's going to be, the people in Philly that are gonna just be negative. That's what they do sometimes. And I know people aren't going to say that, oh, we could definitely beat the Nets. I'm not saying we could definitely beat them, but I'm saying we have a chance.
Yeah.
If we get the 1 seed and go to a game 7 with home court, you might as well just call the game right there. No one is beating us. Exactly. That's exactly what we were talking about earlier.
Hopefully there's some more fans in the stands than there are now.
Yeah. I mean, we're already going to add 3,000 more fans after Easter, I think.
Yeah.
So, we go on a 3-game road stand again, and then we're back home for a little while, which is very much needed. And that first game, April 14th, that's going to be a crazy game. Nets versus Sixers, that's going to be, no matter how many fans are in the stands, that is going to be playoff atmosphere basketball.
Hopefully everybody's playing. Exactly. I want to see their big 3 or big 4, whatever it is, against our big 3 or 4.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. We have not. We played the Nets twice already, and we have not seen them.
No.
We haven't seen Durant. So if we can play everybody like in the playoffs, then we can start talking.
Yeah.
Then we can really see, wow, the Sixers just beat that team by however many points, or wow, the Brooklyn Nets, they are the real deal. And we might have to make some adjustments here and there with some buyout options and stuff like that. But if any team in the East is going to beat this team, it's going to be the Sixers. I'm not too worried about Boston. I'm not too worried about Milwaukee. Do I think they're good teams? Of course I do.
I think Miami's a little underrated. Miami scares me. Miami scares me, not going to lie. Especially with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I'm more scared of Miami than I am of Milwaukee. In
Yeah,
all
I agree.
honesty.
Yeah.
Milwaukee barely beat us without Joel Embiid. Took it to overtime because
Yeah.
of Furkan. If you have Embiid in there, that game isn't even
We
close.
might win by 20, yeah, honestly.
Yeah, and we've done it before. We've had the history of blowing out the Milwaukee Bucks for some reason.
Christmas
I don't
last
know
year when
what it is.
Furkan went off.
Christmas. Yeah, you had Christmas Day last year. You had Markel Fultz's first ever triple double. We blew them out by like 40 points. I don't know what it is about the Bucks, but we match up very well against them.
Yeah.
You have your two superstar players in Middleton and Giannis, and then Embiid and Simmons.
Because we're much deeper than they are.
Yeah,
It's so much more, like, sure, Giannis may be better than our best player, but Middleton's not anything special.
yeah, he's not. I mean, he is right there with Tobias in skill
Yeah.
level, I think. And he might be a little bit better than Tobias, but Tobias's role isn't to be the second best player on the team. He is
Yeah.
maybe the second best scorer, but when you have Ben Simmons averaging 9 assists, that's what happens. When you have a great facilitator like Simmons, he can be a part of every single basket in a basketball game. Opening days in 3 days, yeah. So am I, man.
Go Phils.
I'm hyped for that. What happened to CahtahHaht just seems like, yeah. I mean, the defense is absolutely horrible.
Remember, guys,
It's
he's
an odd
22 years old.
Yeah, I mean, let's not push him out of the city. Also,
He's 22 years old. Give him a break.
would you be interested in his sign? Nah, I would hold off on Jeff T just because we signed George Hill.
Yeah, I'm not. Doesn't do much for me.
They announced, they're allowing 3,000 more fans, I think, after Easter, and I think that the Phillies are allowing
50%, I believe.
20,000, 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, home court is definitely a big part. But there's a lot of fans in the stands. I bet there's going to be people across the street. Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, there's going to be crazy stuff going on if the Sixers make the finals. I'm thinking if we make a deep run, you got to allow. Oh, yeah, you definitely got to.
They should just play outside the link at that point.
Yeah, dude, that would be crazy. George Hill and
That's the other guy they got in trade.
George Hill and Iggy has to.
Yeah, he's not going to get any minutes.
Iggy's not going to play, but George Hill definitely will play. True, we do match up very well with them, but I want them to play the Nets in the second round. No, I want to play them in the Eastern Conference Finals because then we still got to go through a whole nother stressful time period of that.
Oh no, he wants the Bucks to play the Nets in the second round.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely want them to play.
Yeah, wear them down as much as possible. I hope the Nets play the Heat
Miami.
and the Bucks.
Yeah, if Miami wants to, make a run at that, look, go all ahead.
Yeah.
Destroy the Nets and leave it up to us to beat them, and then we'll go to the finals and hoist up that trophy. For the Eastern Conference, not the Brooklyn Nets.
Drew Holiday fell off a cliff.
Yeah, Drew did fall off.
Yeah. We got.
I kind of doubt Iggy will be in the rotation this year, but yeah, I mean, he's just a backup guy. I can't see him playing any minutes.
Yeah.
I would have liked Tony Bradley, though. I actually didn't mind him. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, I would have rather them give up Mike Scott than Tony Bradley, but it is what it is.
I see Iggy being a part of our wing rotation next year. He's like a poor man's Doug McDermott. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know anything about this guy.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him either.
I've never heard anything from him except that he was on the Knicks.
And then I don't think he played at all.
Yeah, I don't think he played either. I mean,
yeah.
And if you're not playing on the Knicks, I mean, there's probably an issue there. You think we can go get DeMarcus Cousins and Avery Bradley in the buyout market?
I don't know about Avery Bradley. I don't know how much he really helps us. Boogie, maybe.
Yeah, I mean these guys are at the down parts of their career. I
Yeah.
think it's at the point where you can't sign too many guards. We already
Yeah.
signed George Hill. You're going to have too many come playoff time, and you got to shorten that rotation down a ton.
Yeah, I would. I'm honestly like Boogie would be kind of nice because he could probably play stretch four a little bit if you need him to.
Yeah,
So put him in the Mike Scott role. I would like that a little bit.
yeah, I would not mind Boogie. And he's Boogie. I mean, he's no
Yeah.
slouch in the NBA world.
No.
I think the biggest reason the Flyers defense isn't doing the best is because Matt Niskanen retired. Yeah, that definitely hurts a lot. And you have Ghost, who is a very offensive defenseman, and same thing with Sanheim and Myers. You're just not getting back on the puck, and it's not working.
What's up, Positive Philly?
What's going on? Bucks best bench player is Bobby Portis. Yeah, I mean he's having a good season, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of did want PJ Tucker there for a little bit. He definitely would have been way better than Mike Scott would have.
Well, you heard the story behind that, right?
Nah.
The Rockets don't want to trade with the Sixers because of Morey. They're upset at Morey. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's why we didn't get Harden or Tucker or Oladipo.
That's so soft. That's got to be the dumbest thing.
The Sixers probably would have given up Ben Simmons for James Harden, so they screwed themselves out of that. That's their fault.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they literally got Kelly Olynyk and a bunch of trash picks for James Harden. That's what they got. Like, you just traded away the best player you have had, maybe in your history outside of Akeem Olajuwon. Well, definitely the best player you've had outside of Akeem, or even the best for Kelly Olynyk. Like,
if you want to be petty like that, I mean, you did it to yourself.
Like, they're screwed. They're not going to be. They're going to be us back in 2015. They might have
but we had picks coming toward
exactly.
I think we were in better shape than they were.
Like we had stuff to look forward to where they did not. Appreciate you, Positive Philly. Iggy is young and was insane at Michigan.
Okay, I might have to look up his highlight tape because I haven't seen too much of him.
Yeah, I haven't either. I didn't even know he was. I didn't even know he went to college in the U.S. I thought he came from overseas with a name like Ignis, whatever that last name is.
He sounds like a Fergie clone.
Yeah. I didn't hear much about him, but I looked up his G League stuff. He's interesting, but raw and sort of unathletic. Hence the poor man's Doug McDermott. All right. Well, I mean, if he could shoot a little bit, then okay.
Isn't Doug McDermott like 6'10" though? He's bigger, isn't he?
Doug?
Yeah. I thought he was bigger.
Yeah, Doug McDermott? That sounds familiar. I can't think of him.
Dougie Buckets.
From Creighton?
I think that's where you're from. Yeah, something like that. I remember he was really good in the tournament or something like that.
Yeah.
I have some mixed roster.
Basically, Daryl took a shot in the dark at this wing player. Will he be our new Rocco? Who knows? But I like the optionality of having a small forward prospect.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
he might be a bench player one day.
Yeah, who knows? I doubt it. I mean, the Knicks already released Terrence Ferguson and Vincent Poirier.
I had high hopes for Ferguson, and he just didn't crack any.
Yeah, he just didn't play. I mean, I don't know what was wrong with him.
I guess he just wasn't good in Doc's eyes. I trust Doc with that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, he would have gotten 25-plus minutes with Brett probably.
Yeah,
he's been in the league before, and he would have been taking minutes away from Matisse.
Yeah.
If we get Boogie, then the big man game again, this would be insane because Boogie has shown some signs this season that he could still be dominant. Yeah, I mean, you put him out there with against LaMarcus Aldridge. Can you play Boogie with Embiid, though? That's the biggest question. Can you play both bigs at the same time or is he going to have to play off the bench with Dwight?
Yeah, is he good enough of a spot-up shooter that he can play the stretch four? Because
Yeah,
Embiid should be down low on the post.
exactly. And he's too big. I mean, at this point in DeMarcus Cousins' career, he is just too big to be doing anything else other than just spot up shooting. And he's had too many injuries.
Yeah.
I'll take Boogie just because I don't want. Yeah, I mean, it's gotten to that point, unfortunately. PJ is averaging 3 and is an average shooter. I would rather have Furkan playing over Tucker, in my opinion.
Okay.
Look, Furkan, I don't know what got into Furk, but I'm loving every second of it. And I see the Furkan. I mean, I have a Furkan jersey too, but
yes, sir.
He's been going crazy.
I love Furky.
I will definitely, if he can play in the playoffs and not kill you on the defensive side and make some
That's
three.
The biggest thing. He's got to play more defense. No, he's getting better on defense. He's gotten a lot better on defense.
I mean, he couldn't have gotten worse. I mean, that's just not playing defense at all at that point.
Yeah.
He's gotten a couple steals here and there, and
he tries to play, and he takes charges every once in a while too.
Yeah, he reminds me of Ersan. Just a smaller Ersan Ilyasova. Look, if Furk can do what Furk can do, I'm not going to hate on him. I mean, there's no reason to. Sign Vincent Beck, I'm okay. Vincent Poirier was never getting in with us. How about Kyle Korver? He might be a little bit out of his career at this point. JJ, I would have seen.
I'd rather have Ellington than Korver for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Ellington is definitely, at the top of buyout players at this point in time. But again, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if he's going to really want to say, let me come to Philadelphia, or is he going to go back to Miami? Is he going to go to the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nets? Who knows? I mean, in my opinion, there's probably like 6 or 7 contending teams that can really make a shot at the champion at a trophy. And that's the Nets, the Sixers, the Bucks, the Lakers, the Clippers, and honestly, maybe the Heat. That's 6. Could Denver? Okay, maybe. Could Utah? I guess, but I doubt it. There's just some teams that they're just not there. And I think that's what it is with the Jazz. I think they're a very good team. Very good, constructed team. But and as you said, Lucas, the Suns, I think they're in the same boat. I think that they're with the Jazz on. I don't know if they can compete because I don't think they've been there enough, in their careers, and I don't think they have good enough players to do it. I think Donovan Mitchell's great, but they don't have an Embiid. They don't have a top 10 player. Neither do the Suns. All the other teams that are in contention have top 10 players in the NBA. Giannis, Durant, Harden, Embiid, LeBron, AD. You have those guys. I don't know if the Suns, the Jazz, I don't know if they can get them.
I like Booker and Chris Paul a lot, but I don't see them being. I don't think Ayton's there yet in his development.
Yeah,
for them to be legit.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Yeah, they got the makings of a good team, but they're not there yet.
Definitely not yet. I don't think they're there, especially when you have these super teams forming around them.
Yeah,
there's absolutely no chance that the Suns beat the Lakers in a 7-game series. No. They're not going to beat the Clippers either. I don't even know if they beat the Nuggets.
No.
No
shot.
They're a good regular season team, and they're a couple pieces away. They're a star away. Because can Devin Booker be that guy? I don't know. I don't know if he could be the number 1 player on a championship team. Because he's not. I mean, it takes a top 10 player to win a championship. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And this is the first year where we have maybe actually had a top 10 player in the NBA. Jimmy might have been a top 10 player, but again, we didn't win a championship.
Jimmy wasn't a top 10 player of the year. He was here.
Yeah, nah.
He was good. He was good, but he wasn't top 10.
Yeah, we just had a very well constructed team. I mean, we had we might have had the best starting five in basketball that year.
Yeah.
And you also didn't have LeBron in the East. I don't think the Mavs will make the playoffs. Luka is so overrated. I love Luka.
I like Luka.
I really do. They'll probably squeak in, but again, they're the same way. I mean, they're just not. They're nowhere close to winning.
They have injury issues all the time, right?
Yeah, Kristaps is injured all the time.
Yeah.
And that we know better than anybody. Injuries come back to haunt you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty much what Philadelphia has been since I've been alive. It's just injury bug. But yeah, anything you wanted to bring up, or you want to switch the topic or anything like that?
We got the one comment here by Lucas about the Nets not that could be an issue. Blake Griffin sucks though. I don't think he's ever gonna start for them. He's washed.
I don't see it with Blake.
No.
I don't even LaMarcus Aldridge. I guess he could get you a basket, but again, I don't watch Spurs basketball unless they play us. And
you gotta switch. You gotta have. They play good team basketball.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe you start George Hill, because I've heard he's a little bit better defensively. I haven't watched him play, but
exactly. I mean, I'm not a GM. I mean, I don't watch these guys play. I don't know what they're good at. I look at, other than my team that I've been watching for the last 40 games, I have to depend on stats.
Yeah.
I have to depend on George Hill's 3-point shooting stats in order for me to make any sort of judgment.
Yeah, and it sucks too because it could be so misleading because, sure, their defensive stats could look nice, but then you see them getting blown by every night. It's like not actually good defensively.
I mean, it happens all the time, and that's why Ben Simmons is one of the most overhated players in the league.
Yeah,
because
they don't watch him play defense.
Exactly, they're like, "Oh my God, look at his stats. He only averages 1 steal, 16 points, and 8 and 8." But they don't even look at what else is going on. This guy is in on every defensive play in the game of whatever team the Sixers are playing. He is in every single play on defense.
That's true. Yeah, you could have Matisse starting too.
Yeah, I mean,
you want to give us some shooting.
That is definitely something that I've talked about with a couple of my friends. Is in a 7-game series against the Nets, do you start Matisse Thybulle? Do you have to do that? And for defensive purposes, you might have to, but
you got to be able to score first before you do that, though.
Yeah, you can't have Seth Curry averaging 14 off the bench.
Yeah,
you just can't have that, especially. And I know people aren't going to like this, but when you have the team chemistry that got you to that point, why would you switch it up in the Eastern Conference Finals or the second round of the playoffs? You just don't do that. You just wait it out. And does Matisse get more minutes? Maybe he'll get more minutes. But you can't have Matisse in the starting 5 when he hasn't been in the starting 5 all season, unless if injuries happen.
And I mean, there's some times where Matisse will have some defensive lapses, and he'll be too aggressive and wind up getting in foul trouble. That's the last thing we want.
We've seen it before with Matisse. He is just, in my opinion, he's just a smaller Dwight Howard. When he fouls, he is at no help. But when he is staying out of foul trouble, we know what he is capable of doing, and that's getting you the ball back on the defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
People overrate Gobert but underrate Ben. Makes no sense.
Because Ben was the number 1 overall pick, and let's be realistic, he should be a lot better than when he is offensively.
Yeah, I mean, look, I am 1000% a Ben Simmons supporter, and
Yes.
I've been that way for his entire career. But scoring wise, he is not anywhere near where we know he can be. And that's what makes me so mad. We know he can be a 20 point per game scorer. We
Yeah.
know that. But he is just not doing it.
There's no reason he shouldn't be as good as Giannis right now.
Yeah. Giannis and Ben Simmons are identical.
Yeah.
One is just a little bit longer than the other. And,
Mhm.
you know, Ben, in that stretch of games where it was like a 15 stretch of games where this guy was getting 10 free throws a game. He was averaging like 23 points a night. And he dropped 40 points on him on Gobert. He was
Yeah.
dropping 30. He was doing what we know Ben Simmons can do. And now he's slowly starting to go back to
It's like,
let
what
me
do we
just
have to do to tell him be aggressive? Like,
yeah,
I don't know what it is. Just
he can beat
God.
anybody off the dribble.
Yeah.
Anybody.
I don't know if he just has to be mad again. It's just, but when Ben's mad, he plays really aggressively.
Yeah,
So
when
we
he
gotta have somebody
doesn't get
piss him
that
off.
foul call, he
Yeah.
will go at the rim, and
Yeah.
he'll. I mean, we saw it the other night against the Clippers. He didn't get a foul call, and he was in foul trouble all night. But when he was in foul trouble, he was dunking the ball and yelling every time he dunked it, and that's when the Sixers started to come back in. Then he
Hmm.
got in more foul trouble, and then it just kind of unraveled itself. We ended up losing the game by 10 because when you're missing your superstar
Hmm.
for 8 minutes into the game, that's what's going to happen. I don't see Matisse starting, but I can definitely see Curry getting less minutes and Tease getting more in a series against Brooklyn, I'm assuming. So, yeah, again, I could definitely see that. Um, I don't know about less, but because you are going to need some scoring
You need shooting for sure.
when Matisse Thybulle is out there.
Sure. JJ Redick was a defensive liability, but you need the 3-point shooting.
And he did exactly that. I've seen JJ Redick go off for 28 points a game or 28 points in a game just off of his 3-point shooting ability alone.
Yeah.
And then it just opens up the floor for everybody else. If Seth Curry's hitting his shots, two defenders are obviously going to go collapse on him. You throw that back into Embiid, and Embiid's going to go to work. Embiid
Yeah.
gets triple teamed. Triple teamed. You
And then you
have
get Danny Green wide open corner 3, which is
exactly.
probably one of the best shots in basketball right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you can get Danny Green open now, I mean,
Yeah.
the spurt that he's having at this point in the season, this guy is insane right now. 50% from three. I'll take that. You get him open with Embiid down low, getting triple teamed. You can pass it to Curry. You get a defender jumping. You kick that right to the corner for a Danny Green splash. I mean, that's what it has been for the last 10 games now without Embiid. Danny
Yeah.
Green has really stepped up, and that's the veteran presence that he brings to that team. He knows when it's his time to step up. And, he was big time against the Lakers. He was big time against the Knicks. And we ended up winning those games because of him.
Yeah.
Danny Green had 9 points at the end of that Knicks game. We don't win. And then he had a huge shot in overtime. We don't win that game without Danny Green.
No, not at all.
And I understand that he is streaky, but again, he doesn't have 3 rings for nothing. He
Hmm.
knows how to win. He doesn't get brought into the Los Angeles Lakers for nothing with LeBron James. He doesn't get traded in a trade with Kawhi Leonard for nothing.
Well, and that's the one thing that we need to be aware of is the streakiness. If he's on a cold streak in the playoffs, Doc's got to know. All right, you're out right now. We can't
Yeah,
have you. We can't have
or
this
just
happen.
stop shooting the ball
Yeah.
because we've seen that he is still a solid defender. He gets
Oh yeah.
steals. He
Yep.
gets his hand on the ball, and now that he is really increasing that 3 and D mentality that he is bringing to this team right now in the last 10 games, it's really working out. I mean,
Yeah.
he is everything, if not more than what we needed last year or the year before that.
They should have just signed him instead of trading for signing Horford.
Yeah, really. Ben can hit threes, but doesn't have the confidence to shoot them. Giannis has the confidence, but can't hit the threes. I just don't know. I don't know if Ben can really hit a three. I don't need him to hit a three.
I don't care if he. Honestly, I could care less if he shoots. Take the ball to the rack every single time. I don't care.
I know what he can do. I know what Ben Simmons is capable of doing. I've seen it with my own eyes. I mean, I do have season tickets to this team, and I've seen every game from Ben Simmons. In that stadium, almost. I know what he's capable of doing. I've seen him shoot corner threes in pregame. I've seen him make his only 2 threes, since before, pre-COVID. But at this point in time, I know what he's capable of. Go to the rim, dude. Nobody is stopping you. You are a 6'10" beast. Go to the rim and make it. And if you do, you're eventually going to get fouled.
Yeah.
Because it gets to the point where you are just too unguardable down low, where they're going to have to foul you.
There was a point where I thought that he was going to be better than Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
if you got a guy like Joel Embiid being number 2 option, watch out.
Dude, if Embiid is ever the number 2 option in this team, I mean, you could just mark it down that the Sixers are winning the championship that year. I mean, but Ben Simmons he has the ability to be that good.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why he can't be.
We've said this from the start. He's a jump shot away from being LeBron.
Yeah, he's a jump shot away from being a top 5, if not the best player in the game of basketball. He has the ability to. He just needs to do it.
Yeah.
I understand, he hasn't ever done it, which is shocking. I don't know how he doesn't do it. But again, it's at the point where if you shoot it, I'd rather you shoot it than not. If you are open, shoot the jump shot. I don't care if you airball. I don't care if you brick it. If it goes in, that's that confidence that just goes right back to you. I mean, you're only going to receive compliments from you shooting the basketball at this point in his career.
Yeah, and no Philly fans. Any legit Sixers fan, nobody's gonna get mad at him for shooting.
Exactly. No,
unless he's taking like contested 3-pointers out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But even that, I mean, what are you doing that? I'd be excited for that.
Yeah. I mean, look, any jump shot from Ben Simmons is a win in my book. Yeah. And any true Philadelphia fan that live and die by Philly sports or just the city in general will not get mad at Ben Simmons for shooting a 3. Will not get mad at Ben Simmons for shooting. Because if you do get mad, why are you a fan? Why do you even like this team if you're just going to criticize him for everything he does?
Exactly.
You're just putting more stress on yourself. Like, just give it up. Like, at that point, don't even watch. Because when he's doing the thing that you think he can't do, why are you criticizing him when he's doing the thing that we have all been wanting him to do? That's the reason. And, Philly is not for everybody.
No.
We just saw that with Carson. I mean, I love Carson Wentz, and I wish him nothing but the best in Indianapolis. But clearly, when times got rough in Carson's world, it just did not work. And you replaced him with a backup quarter. You replaced him with Jalen Hurts, and you kind of threw him out of town. You turned the fans on him. You did everything that you shouldn't do to a quarterback that you just paid $128 million.
I get pissed off of that too, honestly, but
yeah. I mean, look, Jalen is here now. All right. I'm on the Jalen Hurts train at this point. And now you're like now's the time that he finally wins the quarterback 1 title. Now you're going to say, "Oh, no, we wanted to draft Zach Wilson." Why would you do that, Allie? And I don't even think that trade.
he obviously doesn't either doesn't trust Jalen Hurts or Sirianni doesn't like Hurts. I don't know what it is, but Jalen Hurts is, at least to me, it's clear he's not going to be the quarterback in 2022. I
Yeah.
think that they're probably going to have the first overall pick. It'll probably be Sam Howell, or if Deshaun Watson gets cleared of all these allegations, maybe it's Deshaun Watson in Philly. Who knows? We have so many assets now, which they're kind of doing a process style rebuild at this point, getting all these assets.
Yeah, and I don't think what Howie did there was a bad move. I really don't.
I don't
actually
like the timing of it.
Yeah,
I think they should have waited till draft night to do that trade, but it is what it is. Eagles fans got to realize that they're not a wide receiver away from being contenders. Jamar Chase doesn't make them a playoff team.
yeah.
Even though I do love Jamar Chase, but he's not. He's gonna be a good receiver, but it's not like he's gonna win you games.
Yeah, I mean, we have nothing going for this team at
Yeah.
this point in time. There is very little, as an Eagles fan, to be excited of right now
Yeah.
in the world of football. And that's why I'm glad that the other three teams are kind of distracting me from all this Eagles talk. The Flyers are struggling, yeah, but I know that they can be good. I've
We saw it
seen
last year. Yeah.
the Sixers, they are good. They're a great basketball team. And now the Phillies start soon. So now that's just more distraction.
Phillies, you got Bryce Harper. That's all you need to watch. Bryce Harper.
Harper, you got Real Muto. You have names on that team.
Yeah.
They just got to put it together. I mean, but I'm not going to be freaking out over game one. I mean, again, this isn't football. This isn't a 16-game season.
And that's the most difficult part with the Eagles is every game counts so much more.
Yeah, I mean, it's just constant. I mean, when the Eagles lose, that next day, that Monday,
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's the worst day ever.
Absolutely horrible. You can't turn on sports radio. You can't go, for my sake, you can't go on YouTube and watch a Philly sports creator. You can't go on TikTok. You can't do anything.
No.
You cannot go on social media that day if your football team loses on Sunday.
Yeah. Now, if they win,
I mean, then you got something. Then you turn on Anthony Gargano. You turn on, Mike Missinelli, Marks and Reese.
CahtahHaht, before Philly fan, you got to turn all them on.
Exactly. CahtahHaht. You turn them on and, you get excited. But when they lose, it is just about the worst thing possible. You don't want to do anything. You are in a terrible mood. And Lucas,
No.
I don't think that's happening, bro. I just don't.
I don't see how they can be better than they were last year.
Yeah.
It's just.
They'd
So
be
let me
lucky
ask you this, right? What jersey would you buy of this team right now? Because I'm thinking maybe Miles Sanders.
Yeah. I have Sanders. I have a Sanders jersey.
Yeah, I got Sanders already. So it's like, I don't think I'd buy a single jersey from this team right now.
Nobody is safe on this team. I mean,
No.
like, I was so excited last year. I got a Slay jersey. I got a Fletch. I got down in Wildwood, I got a Slay signed helmet from an arcade. I was hype. I was like, wow, like this Eagles team is going to be good.
Yeah.
And then comes draft night and you kind of screw that up. You kind of just wait and wait and wait, and now you blow a 17-point lead to the Reds or to Washington. You do this, you do that. You're 1-4, and now you're saying, maybe this team isn't that good.
Yeah.
And then the rest, and then you tie the Bengals because you don't go for a kick. But
that was terrible.
This team is in shambles right now. They have nobody to really like. Again, as you just said, there is absolutely nobody other than maybe Miles Sanders that you can say, I need that jersey. I'm going to go and buy this jersey today.
Because, I mean, obviously, we're not sure what's going to happen with Hurts. Is he going to be here for a long time? Is he going to be here just this year? Like, what's going on with him?
I would love to buy a Jalen Hurts jersey. I really would.
I
but I
would, but I'm not doing it. I
I
can't do it.
I'm not spending the money just for him to be gone in a year. I've done
Yeah.
that enough in my time as a Philly sports fan with Jimmy Butler, with Fultz. I've done this enough. I
Yep.
don't need to keep doing it more and more just to keep throwing away my money to, wherever I'm throwing it to get this jersey made.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm picking up a Dallas Goddard jersey. He's a free agent. I mean, you really got to wait. I don't think that's a bad option.
I like Dallas Goddard, but honestly, he hasn't been able to stay healthy either. It's like what?
Yeah, this team is a mess.
I feel like Dallas Goddard should be a top 5 tight end in the league already, and it's almost like he's just not he's not living up to my expectations at least.
Yeah. I mean, he's not. I thought Ertz and Goddard were going to be a thing for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this team was set. When they won that Super Bowl, I was like, wow, like this team is going to be good for a long time. They have everything that they need. And then they go into that offseason, they pick up, or not that offseason, but the following, you get Deshaun Jackson, you get some speed guys, Malik Jackson comes. You just have good players.
Yeah.
And even that team, 9-7?
Yeah.
Barely winning the division.
Just
Will you be buying a Wentz Colts jersey just wondering? I don't think so. I mean, if I can't even buy a jersey for my own team, I'm not going to buy a jersey for the opposing team.
if he wins the Super Bowl, maybe, potentially.
Look, I'm
gonna be rooting for him, but like I mean, if the Eagles play him, fuck him. But the rest of it, like, I like Wentz. Wentz never did anything to me.
Yeah,
I wear the AO1 bracelet every day. Like,
yeah, I was never against Carson. I
Yeah.
wasn't. I mean, I don't know why the whole city was. Obviously, the guy was playing bad, but the whole team was bad. Travis
Yeah.
Fulgham was your leading receiver through week 7.
the whole season.
Yeah, literally the whole season he was your leading receiver, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
It was a problem in that locker room.
He had one receiver with over 500 yards in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That's embarrassing. I mean, what more at this point in Carson's Philadelphia career could you ask for? I mean, you gave the guy nothing. You could have had DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson. You could have had plenty of guys through the draft, through free agency, and you literally did the opposite. You signed and traded away everybody that
I mean, they did it one year. They had Torrey Smith and they signed Alshon Jeffrey, and they didn't do any smaller moves. Like, if they would have brought in a guy like Torrey Smith every year, who's a decent wide receiver, Carson Wentz probably would never had the downfall that he did. But there was games where John Hightower was starting this year. You can't have a 5th round pick starting at wide receiver. It just doesn't work.
It got to that point where our best receiver was a quarterback in college.
Yes. That's terrible. That should never happen.
That can't happen.
And I like Greg Ward, but he's not an NFL starting receiver.
Yeah. And you know when the last time that happened? When a starting quarterback in college transformed into a wide receiver? That was on the Browns.
Yeah.
The Browns did that. I can't even remember the guy's name.
Yeah.
But the Browns did it. Do you want to have the same reputation as the Cleveland Browns?
Then he signed with Washington. They gave him a lot of money.
Terrell Pryor. That's who it was. Yeah. I mean, that guy, he was good, but
he had a 1,000-yard season.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't even know if Greg Ward is that.
Well, Greg Ward doesn't have. He was like 6'4", I think. He was a taller dude.
Yeah,
he had some athleticism to him as well.
He was actually athletic. I mean, he was an Ohio State guy. They just make athletes over in that school.
It's pretty funny that Ohio State's best quarterback wound up being a wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah. If Wentz succeeds in Indianapolis, it shows the Eagles just messed up. I think the Eagles messed up regardless.
Well, yeah, the Eagles messed up regardless. I think that, he went from the best quarterback in the league to one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. And I think he will. I think he's got everything there for him in Indianapolis.
Oh,
He's got
dude.
receivers. He's got some decent tight ends. He's got a running game. He's got a good offensive line. He should be fine in Indianapolis. If Philip Rivers looked good in that offensive last year, Carson Wentz should look fine.
He might just have the best offensive line in football at this point. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, and the biggest thing is the Eagles haven't had that run game since 2017.
yeah,
They had Miles Sanders, but they didn't run him enough.
he's going to have it this year. I mean, you have 3 really solid running backs: Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, and Marlon Mack re-signed there for a 1-year deal. They're going to be a solid team.
Yeah.
Apparently, Devontae Smith could fall to 12.
I'm good.
I am an Alabama fan for football. My dad was kind of born into it, and then it just transferred to me. I love Smitty. I really do. But does that help you at this point in time? You just drafted a small receiver last year, and now you're drafting an even smaller receiver this year.
Well, and remember, Rager was about the same size as Smith, and then he put on 15 pounds, and that's when he ran the slower 40. He did not look as fast as he did in college last year.
No chance. He had that one really good speed thing, and it was on a punt return.
Yeah. And he got incredible blocks on that. But, I'm just really worried about injury problems with Smith. I really am. With a team who's already got injury problems as it is, bring in somebody who weighs 170 pounds, soaking wet. I'm good. And he was great in college. Probably the best receiver in college last year for sure. But there's a reason he wasn't starting over Judy and Ruggs before. And he was old. He's older than Jamar Chase as well.
Look, I love my Alabama guys. I really do, and I've been begging for an Alabama guy to come to Philadelphia for a long time.
Yeah.
But do you go the route of Smith? Do you go the route of Waddle? I mean, these are 2 guys that were just injured last year.
They're the same type receivers that you already have on the roster. It's
Yeah.
like you already have Hightower, Watkins, and Rager. Why are you going to bring in another one? What's the point?
We have nobody that can go up and get you a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nobody. Matisse Thybulle might be the best jump ball receiver in Philadelphia right now.
Let's give Goddard some credit. He can go up and get a ball when he needs to.
Yeah. Yeah, Goddard's really good when healthy, though. I mean, that's been the biggest issue with this city, or with this Eagles team, is the health. Yeah. I think they have a great offensive line. Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Kelsey, and Dillard, Mayata, and Sayamalu. I think they're okay. I think that's a solid line, especially that right side. Really good. But
we'll see if Dillard wants to play here. That's a concern for me. Is it does seem like Dillard is all sold here.
Yeah. And Dillard is another guy. What do you do with him at this point?
Yeah. That's like I don't know. And honestly, I'll tell you, there's reports of the Bengals not wanting Sewell. If he falls, I'm trading up to get him.
Yeah, you just might have to trade right back into that's
6 or 7
spot. Now the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they could take them at 6, and I don't know if you can really trade back with them. But if he goes to 7, I think that's the Panthers or somebody like that.
The Lions are at 7.
Yeah, the Lions. They're going to take Chase. There's no doubt in my mind. If he falls, they're going to take Chase or Pitts at 7.
Yeah.
And, I would definitely not mind Sewell at all. I mean, he's great. He is great.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Pitts for the Eagles. I like him, but I'm not sold that he can play wide receiver at the NFL level. And another tight end.
Yeah,
we seem to be fine with tight ends. We get guys like Richard Rodgers and Josh Perkins who play well as your second tight end, and you already have Dallas Goedert. And Ertz is still on the roster, so
yeah,
I'm good with Pitts right now. I'm okay.
The 12th pick, I don't know who the Eagles take right now. I really don't.
You need corn. I'd go. I like J.C. Horn. I like J.C. Horn. I like Farley. I like Sertan. I like Parsons a lot. I'm a Penn State guy.
Parsons falls to the
I
Eagles.
like Parsons a lot.
I mean, his 40 time. What was it, like a 4.4, 4.3?
4.39.
That's insane.
Well, he was clocked the first time at 4.35. Second time was 4.39.
That's
4.35 at linebacker.
He's a dog. I mean, that's not okay.
No, he's very similar to what Isaiah Simmons was last year.
Yeah. Look, if Micah Parsons falls to us,
I'm taking him. And Eagles fans are going to be all upset because they hear all the rumors that he doesn't want to play football and all this stuff, which is crap. The reason he didn't play last year is because they said the Big Ten season was canceled. Then they, out of nowhere, they were like, okay, we're playing again, and he just didn't. He was done with it.
Jamar Chase did the same thing, and he was in the SEC.
Yeah,
they were playing from the start.
Yeah, I mean, and these guys are training every single day, so it doesn't worry me at all that they didn't play college 1 year.
Yeah, you don't go out and just run a 4.35 40.
Yeah,
if you don't want to play football.
Yeah,
like that doesn't happen.
If he didn't want to play football, he wouldn't be going to the combine.
Yeah, he wouldn't be at pro day. He wouldn't be at the combine. He wouldn't be at anything. He would not be anywhere. He would just be in his house, waiting until draft day to get his money, and then do nothing.
Yep.
Like, this guy wants to play. Like, these kids have been playing football their entire lives. Why wouldn't they want to play?
Yeah.
And we should definitely do something for the draft. I mean, hop on here, just make our live reactions just from.
Yeah, I know El Parcero. I actually got a shore house, so El Parcero might actually be coming to the shore house. We might be doing something there. But we'll definitely try to do StreamYard tonight. For sure during picks, because I mean, it takes so long during picks anyway. I mean, it'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm definitely excited.
Yes.
What is going on I'm in Jersey, so what is going on from Jersey?
What's up?
Likely Eagles can't take an offensive lineman. Giants and Bengals are going to take the top 2 linemen of the draft. Pick over us?
I don't know. I like Darrisaw, I like Slater, and I like Sewell. So honestly, it all depends on what you feel about. Remember, Lane Johnson's coming off a very, very serious injury, so
that he kept.
You may have to draft his replacement at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look, this team isn't close to competing for a Super Bowl
at all.
It's at the point where you're going to have to start drafting replacements, even when you don't want to.
Yeah,
trading away fan favorites. Fletch, Brandon Graham, Brooks. You're going to have to start doing this, or it's just going to keep, Slay. I feel bad for Slay. He went from the Lions and then came right to Philadelphia and is doing the same thing he's been doing his entire career, like playing in a system that isn't ready to win.
Yeah.
So, these good players that have been good for their careers, I guarantee you won't be here by the end of it. By the end of this season or the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
Slay's probably gone. Graham, Cox, Lane, Brooks.
Brandon, yeah.
They might all be
Kelsey's probably retiring at the end of this year.
Kelsey's definitely probably going to retire at the end of it. This is just
surprised Ertz is gone already.
Yeah. And then you go from there. And, this team, you got to do it right. You got to do it right, or you're just going to keep continuously. You're just going to stay bad. Got to do it how.
I'm kind of glad that they did trade back, because that tells me that they're rebuilding now, and that's what we needed. We needed them to commit to this rebuild. Sure. And just the sooner you start to rebuild, hopefully the sooner the rebuild ends.
Yeah, I mean, the Sixers rebuild took 5 years. But you got to think, I mean, you have 2 picks at, minimum in the first and second round. And who even knows if like the NBA draft and the NFL draft are nothing alike. You could get a
Oh yeah.
absolute steal in round 5, in round
Mhm.
6. Tom Brady's the greatest player of all time. He was a 6th-round pick. I mean, we all know this. You can do anything with these kids because football
I
is
mean,
a different
pa-
sport.
past the 5th or 6th pick in the NBA, you don't really get much. Like
Yeah,
we got lucky with Maxi this year with what
21,
was he
20.
21? Yeah.
Yeah,
So like the end, and then you got Justin Jefferson in the NFL, which is what the 22nd pick. He was the
yeah,
best rookie of the year. Like
yeah. I mean, football is completely different.
yeah,
You had guys like Quez Watkins, 5th or 6th round pick. He started for us last year. Now, that's not saying much. He's starting on the Eagles, but he's
Darnell
still
Mooney was a
he could start.
Darnell Mooney was a 5th round pick. He started for
Yeah,
the Bears, who was a pretty good team.
yeah. There's plenty of good players in college football that you might have never heard about that are
Mhm.
going to be one day possibly stars, superstars. You know, I, and that's why I don't think that the Eagles rebuild will be as long as the Sixers. I don't. We could have 3 first-round picks next year, 3,
Yeah,
and who knows? Jalen Hurts plays great. Well, there you go. You
there's
don't need a
another first
quarterback.
round pick. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you're not sold on him, there's another 1st round pick.
yeah, exactly.
Go get
I
yourself
mean,
hell.
you can trade a lot of these guys for a lot of good, either young talent or draft picks.
Yeah,
And it's the NFL. You're not going to trade veterans for young guys like the NBA. You're going to trade them for draft picks.
yeah,
You can get Ertz for a 4th or a 5th on draft night. Trade him to the Colts for a 4th-round pick. Okay? I mean, it's better than nothing.
yeah,
You can't just let the guy walk or keep him here hostage when he doesn't even want to be here anymore. Just let him go. Again, fan favorite. Well, guess what? He's not going to do anything here when we're going to rebuild. You
yeah.
got to trade him while he still has some value.
And I think part of the problem is we've held on to some of these guys too long.
Yeah,
Maybe we should have traded Zach Ertz after we won the Super Bowl. Maybe, well, I mean, he was great in 2018. Maybe you trade him in the 1 team. Like, they held on to some of these guys too long. Brandon Graham shouldn't be on the roster anymore.
yeah. You just got a new contract for what?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, they have to keep extending his contract because it's too big for them to handle on their payroll. But if you would
yeah,
have traded him 2 years ago, you wouldn't have had that problem.
exactly. I mean, it's at the point where fan favorites, you just got to let them go,
Yeah.
or they're just gonna stay here and do nothing. I
And
mean,
that's what the Patriots do every year. They release one of those fan favorites every year. Patriots fans get upset. The next year, they're still good again.
yeah, they still win. They won multiple Super Bowls since I've been alive.
Yeah.
They've won 6 times, six
Yeah.
times, and just because a Chandler Jones gets released or uh, a Jamie Collins, a fan favorite in New England because my cousin's a Patriots fan. You know, I
It
knew
doesn't.
what they meant to them, but the very next year they won the Super Bowl again. So what does it matter about a Jamie Collins or a Chandler Jones? Are they good? Chandler Jones is one of the best defensive players in the league. They got rid of him, and he is yet to win a Super Bowl, but they keep winning.
Yeah.
It's
It's
time to just let go. Let
exactly.
go of the past. This is not a Super Bowl team. This was a Cinderella story. Like that team still amazes me how they won a Super Bowl.
Yes.
They were great. They were a bunch of players that really did care for each other. And it got to the point where they all just played the game of their lives and they won the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
With a backup quarterback named Nick Foles. I mean, this isn't how this works. That was a Cinderella story if I've ever seen one. Am I
Hmm.
happy it happened? Of course I am. But Jalen Hurts and this group of guys, they're just not ready.
No.
They're just not good enough. You got
The thing I fear for Jalen Hurts is if the offensive line is like it was last year, he's gonna get himself hurt. That's the
yeah,
last thing you want. It's for a guy like him to
when
tear
you're
his
trying,
ACL.
like, especially when you could trade him.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I like Hurts as a person. I like him as a player. I like how he handled himself last year with being a backup for that long and then coming in and doing what he needed to do. And I like the way he reps Philadelphia. I like when players rep their city. I love Harper for that. I love Embiid for that. And I see Jalen Hurts always wearing something Philadelphia. Love that about him.
Yeah.
But you got to get him some help. If this is his tryout year, you got to do something with him. And you can't just leave him out there to dry like you did Carson.
Well,
You got to do something.
And the thing is, if you know you don't want him and you don't want him to be the quarterback past this year, just trade him now.
Yeah.
Have Joe Flacco start.
I'll take a Mac Jones. I'll take a Kyle Trask. If that's what you're going to – or Flacco. Again.
Yeah. Grab more picks. Why not?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they can get their second-round pick back for him that they used on him last year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And do we even have a second-round pick this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, we have 11 picks. We have the most picks in the draft this year.
Yeah.
We have a first. We have a second. And, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? You still have some guys last year that still haven't really made their impact. You have Davian Taylor. He was a third-round pick. He barely played. He was a special teams guy. You have Kevon Wallace that I think, maybe could make some impact. But, again, look at those guys. Late-round picks, a fourth and a third. You don't think you can get a third or a fourth from Brandon Graham or Zach Ertz? I know you can. I know for a fact that you can get a third or a fourth for them. And if they're becoming impact players, because I know they're going to get some run this year. They have to. Rodney McLeod, he has a torn ACL. He's not going to be playing for a little while here.
Yeah.
And again, he's another person. Get rid of him. Why keep him? Why hold them hostage?
Let him go somewhere else.
Let them have a chance to make their legacy even better than it was in Philadelphia.
And I mean, as much as it hurts, I was a huge Jalen Mills fan. Had multiple interactions with him before. Great guy. When they had to let him go, and he got paid from New England.
I mean, he was never getting that money.
No,
getting held here.
And you shouldn't have given him that money either. He's not. That's not the type of guy you need to build around. The type of guy you build around is Micah Parsons at 12.
Yeah. Like a guy that's going to be young for a long time.
Yes.
And just a good player. That's what we need. We just need good players. Good players can band together a Super Bowl run. I've seen it before. Tom Brady had nobody at wide receiver for years and years and years. He had a couple solid slot guys, a couple solid role players, but he had a great coach, and he's the greatest of all time for a reason. But it is very possible to win games with okay talent, with good players.
Yeah.
You just need to start somewhere. Can't keep holding on the good old players. You got to start getting the good young players.
Oh, good. JT got another hit.
Did he?
So did Harper. Harper's batting .324 this spring now.
I'm excited. I really am excited for that.
I'm going to be in Reading all season, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully Bryson Stott's going to be down there. So it'll be cool to watch him.
Yeah, I like that kid. I mean, him and Harper are like boys. I mean, they're really good friends.
I think Moniak's got a shot too. I know he hasn't lived up to expectations yet, but it takes a little bit. He was drafted when he was 18 years old, so
yeah, he's a young player.
And these guys got messed up so much through this Kapler launch angle experience thing. I think that's what ruined Kingery, but they gotta get themselves back to hitting. And last year with the whole no minor leagues, that's going to hurt a lot of players' development.
Yeah. I mean, I have high hopes for this Phillies team, and I also have high hopes for the guys in the minors: Jojo Romero, Scott Kingery, Moniak, Stott. You also have, I think Spencer Howard got put down there too.
Yeah.
They're just going to find their stuff, and they're young enough.
Yeah.
Stott and Moniak, they're like 21, 22. You have Kingery, who's like 25, 26, something like that, and Spencer Howard's like 23, 24.
Yeah.
You're going to have good talent for a little while here in Philadelphia, especially in that Phillies, minor league system. For once, you actually have guys that are going to perform. You saw what Alec Boehm did. Boehm is a stud.
Yeah, and he's just all he's gonna do is start hitting more home runs.
Yeah.
He's getting more power,
I mean,
and he's a guy who's really, really similar to Jason Worth. Plays a different position, but he's really similar to Jason Worth in stature, the way he looks even. Just the way he hits the baseball at all parts of the field. That's something that we miss out of a lot of guys. It's something what Scott Kingery did when he first came up here. He sprinkled the ball to all parts of the field. Same thing with Hoskins. That's what we need to keep doing is hitting the ball to all sides of the field. We don't want to see that shift all the time. And if they start to shift, you hit it the other way and tell them, well, there's a free base hit.
Yeah. I mean, it's at the point where I don't even need to see the home runs. I know who can hit home runs on this team.
Yeah.
But I need guys to get on base.
I don't need to see Rowan Quinn trying to hit a ball 450 feet.
Yeah.
Hit the ball around.
You're the fastest guy maybe in baseball.
Yeah.
Get a hit, and you'll move around the bases faster than anybody. A deep single might score you from first.
Yeah.
You were that fast.
Yeah.
And we all know you're still in second anyways. You're still in second off the first pitch.
Mm-hmm.
You do it every time.
And you can't stop him either. Even JT Realmuto can't stop him.
Yeah. I mean, and JT has the best arm behind the plate in the league. I mean, this team can make a run. They just need to put I think they need to put their home run hitting aside. Guys that don't hit home runs. We know who can. We know JT can get you a home run, Harper, Hoskins. But if Boehm might be the best hitter on the team, if that makes sense. Not home run hitter.
No, I agree.
Hitter overall, but he can get you a hit. And when he comes to the plate, I'm very confident that Alec Boehm is going to hit the baseball.
Honestly, if I'm Girardi, I'm putting him in the 3-hole.
Yeah.
Because he's the best hitter on the team.
Move Harper down to the 4. Why not?
And he can 100% be a cleanup hitter. We know he's one of the best hitters in baseball. And I like Hoskins in the 2-hole because he gets on base. I know he strikes out a lot, but his on-base percentage is one of the best in baseball. And that's what people got to stop looking at batting average and start looking at on-base percentage because on-base percentage means more than batting average to me.
I mean, you look at that 1 through 5 that you just said. It would go Kutch, Hoskins, Boehm, Harper, Realmuto.
Yeah.
That's a
then
problem.
Then you got Gene Segura in your 7-hole.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's amazing. I mean, 6,
and like it's just a deep lineup. It's a very deep lineup.
Yeah, I completely forgot about Didi. Didi's going to be your 6.
Yeah.
I mean, this team can hit. And depending on who the center fielder is, we don't really know right now. And we're probably not going to know until tomorrow.
Today. Yeah, I mean, you got even if you got Roman Quinn as your 8-hole hitter, that kind of speed at your 8-hole hitter, that's pretty good.
And then, that just puts it in place for that suicide bunt. You take an Aaron Nola up there, you put a Zach Wheeler up there, bunt him over. You don't need to, but
if you bunt with Quinn at first base, he might get to third.
Exactly. Or he's probably just going to steal second base regardless, and then you bunt, and then he's on third, and then you have Kutch up, who's a professional hitter.
And
And
fly ball to left field, and you get him home.
exactly. I mean, it's that simple. And I think Adam Hazley, he's a great defender. You've seen that from him. I don't know where Adubel stands with the team. I don't know if he makes it. I think he's a solid hitter. I think he's the best out of the three. But I think with his history, I just don't know if he makes it.
I'm with Herrera. It has nothing to do with the off the field issue. His batting average was terrible that last season, and it's not that great in spring training either.
Yeah.
So I know he can hit you a bomb every once in a while, but we don't really need that.
Especially as an 8-hole hitter, we don't need.
And the defensive lapses he used to have out in center field, what's cost Hamels that no hitter that one game.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I'm good on Herrera. He can. I don't even want him in AAA, honestly, because I'd rather have Moniak in AAA playing there until he's ready.
Sure.
I kind of wish that Moniak was starting in center field this season, but I get that they want Hazley right now. But I think he'll be up at some point.
Yeah, I think Moniak definitely cracks the roster at one point in the season.
Yeah.
And I think he should. I think, he had some hiccups last year in the field, but I'm not going to base anybody's struggles off of last year. It was a 60-game season.
Yeah.
You had injuries all up and down the field. Kutch wasn't 100%. You had JT out. You had Hoskins out. You had Harper with a broken back or a hurt back. You had no bullpen. That team was a mess at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that simple. Everybody knew it. Every baseball fan knew that the Phillies were a mess at the end of the year. And with a good bullpen, and I think we have a solid bullpen now. You have Archie Bradley in there. You have Alvarado.
I really like Alvarado. He's
going to be insane.
Yeah.
Especially with the fans. I mean, when's the last time that the Phillies have had a 100-mile-per-hour pitcher?
Kenny Giles, I think.
Yeah, like
100 miles Giles.
I mean, it's going to be 101, 102. Like if he wants to be our Aroldis Chapman in the 7th, 8th inning, go right ahead, dude.
Get us how the Rays gave him up, honestly.
Yeah, I think they gave him up for like nothing too.
Yeah.
I mean, Archie Bradley, I think he's making a pretty good case to be, your closer along with Hector Neris at some points. I've heard a lot of things saying that Spencer Howard might be coming out of the pen. Vince Velasquez.
You got to keep developing Howard as your starting pitcher.
I want him to start.
He needs to be. If he's not in your rotation in the majors, he's got to be in AAA. You got to get him. You got to develop him to be your. He's got the talent to be a number 2 or 3 starter. So that's what he's got to be for the Phillies at some point.
Yeah, I even think the rotation got better. You have Nola, you have Wheeler. I think Eflin is going to be very good this year. I've seen it from Eflin before, and you had that one year where he was down, but then at the end of the season, he was just kind of saying, like, I'm just going to do what I've been doing to get me to this point. And that's when he would throw those 8, 9 inning, 7 inning games and look good. And
I'm not sure if Matt Moore made the team or not, but I liked what I saw out of him pitching, so I'd be fine with him being a 5th starter. I think Velasquez might be coming out of the bullpen, if I'm not mistaken, which he seems like a very good bullpen arm.
Yeah.
He's very good in the first 3 or 4 innings that he pitches, and then kind of unravels from there. But I'm fine with that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Vinny V, he has some velocity up his sleeve. I mean, he can do it.
He's got all the tools.
Yeah, he's a good fielder. He can do a lot. He's smart. He uses so much gas in the first 3 to 4 innings that he has nothing left in the 5th and 6th and 7th. And that's why he'll never go a 7-inning game. But if you have a terrible start from an Eflin or a Nola or a Wheeler, and you need a guy that comes in for the next 3 innings because you had to pull Nola from the 3rd, throw Vinny V out there. Why not? Yeah. If you can have a guy that can just pitch 3 good innings for you in like a 3-run game, if you can get a couple shutout innings from a bullpen guy like Vince Velasquez, which I'm pretty sure you can. You know, he's a starter. He has very high velocity and he's a very good speed pitcher. You know, I've seen what he's been able to do.
Yeah.
You know, he could be a weapon out of the bullpen.
For sure. For sure.
And go through that 2-3-4 lineup in, you know, the bottom of the eighth, throw him out there.
Yeah.
Let him strike him out.
I like what I'm seeing from him. I think they can win the East this year. I really do. And it sounds crazy because the East is so good.
Of course it is.
But
why wouldn't it?
This lineup can hit with anybody. And what it comes down to is the pitching. The pitching's got to pitch well.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Brad Miller doubles in the bottom of the third. Didi Gregorius scores. And Adam Hazley just singled. Scores Brad Miller.
You got guys like that. That's it. Hazley's got to hit. We got to have Hazley keep hitting. He's batting .313. Yeah, he doesn't need 8 home runs. And
just get on base. That's what Harper's here for.
We got Harper, Hoskins, Real Muto. They can all get you a bomb. Same with Bohm. He can hit you a home run too. But I don't want them to start swinging for the fences every time. Get on base. I'd rather have 4 hits and score a run than have 1 home run and strike out 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. Because then, you know, you're out of the inning real quick.
Yeah.
Keep the inning going. Keep those starters throwing those pitches. Get them out of the game.
Get Scherzer, get Strasburg, get them out of the game.
Yeah, and it kills me because I do a fantasy baseball league, and it kills me because I had to pick so many NL East players. I have Nola as my pitcher. I also have Strasburg, Sixto, Acuna Jr., Swanson. I have Conforto. Like, I was just like, what am I doing? Like, why am I drafting so many of these guys? But
I got lucky in my fantasy draft. The last pick, Sixto was just sitting there. I'm like, what? Why is he sitting there? I'm like, okay, I'm taking him.
I think I picked Sixto pretty early, like earlier than obviously the last pick.
Yeah, I saw him there. I'm like, you know what? I'll take a waiver on him. Why not?
Yeah. Do you think that trade is worth it now that we have JT for the next 5?
Yeah, I do.
I think it is too. I think if you didn't sign him, it was the worst trade that the Phillies possibly could have done.
Right? I didn't like it when they first made the trade, honestly, because I actually really like Sixto, and obviously Sixto's going to be a great pitcher for years to come. But catchers one thing that's kind of hard to come by in the majors right now. There's not a lot of elite catchers in the game, and we have the best one right now. We have the best one. So it's important, especially when a guy can play 150 games for you, a catcher. It's impressive.
Yeah, and you know, even on his off days, he can come in and pinch hit and then play first or play catcher.
And hopefully the DH comes back, and on his days off when he's not catching, he can just DH.
Yeah, the DH this year is going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know why they took it away. Like, why have it then take it away? Just keep it in there. Everybody liked it.
You kept everything else the same, the extra innings, the double headers. Why couldn't you just keep the DH? If we had a DH spot, the Phillies really might go.
Brad Miller DH?
Brad Miller at DH. That's deadly.
And they probably would have, if they knew the DH was coming back, they probably would have kept Jay Bruce.
Yeah, I agree.
This man's still alive. Yes, sir. 2 hours. Whew.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like it. I mean, we're talking about everything at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, Philly sports, you know?
I could talk about this stuff all day. All day.
I can literally do this all day. I mean, I do it all day. I talk to my friends about it. I mean, my group chat with my friends is just he's a hater.
No, he must be one of those Mets fans from Philly.
Nah, he's my friend. I mean, he's my boy, but he doesn't think that the Phillies are going to be good.
Who knows? I think they're going to be good.
I do too. I think they have what it takes.
Yeah.
I think that they're better than the Mets. I think the Mets are the most overrated team in baseball.
Oh, yeah,
I think they're a good team, but I don't think
I hope they pay Lindor a boatload too.
yeah, they're probably going to. I mean, it's going to be crazy. I mean, the NL East is stacked. I mean, we have
Yeah,
the best division in every sport
yeah,
except football, where they're the worst. But
yeah,
hockey, that Eastern Division with the Rangers, the Bruins, the Caps, the Islanders, the
wow.
Penguins, the Flyers. You have a terrible team in the Sabres that we need to beat this week. By the way, we need to win these two games against the Islander or the Sabres. But
If they don't win those 2 games, I mean, it might be tank season.
yeah, you might as well just chalk it up and say,
Yeah,
all right, on to the next one. But I'm, if you win these two games, you're right back in that playoff spot if Boston loses.
yeah, and they have to win.
Yeah,
Like,
there's no reason why you should lose to this Sabres team.
yeah,
Elliott's in net tonight. I don't know if you knew that, but
yeah, I heard. Um, uh, if he gives you the best chance to win, you got to put him out there.
he's a great
Um,
goalie against the Sabres for some reason.
Let him out there. Then, right now, to me, making the playoffs is more important than getting CahtahHaht back on track. CahtahHaht will come around. He's 22 years old.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to give
And
him
it's the same thing with Embiid.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I want playoffs. I don't need an MVP. I don't need,
yeah,
get me to the playoffs, win a championship. Win
yeah.
this city a championship. And you will forever be a Philly great. I mean,
Mhm.
he's already on the track of that. I mean, he's already on the track of being a Hall of Famer, doing everything that, statistically he wants. But I know for a fact that Embiid wants to win a championship more than
Yes.
anything.
Well, and that's what he should want. That's
Yeah,
honestly, yeah, I think if he wants to get in the Hall of Fame, he needs to win that championship.
yeah. I mean, he wins a championship or two. We're talking about Joel Embiid as, arguably the greatest Philadelphia athlete ever.
Yeah, yeah,
Iverson never got that. If he did, he might be the greatest Philly athlete ever. But then, you look at guys, and I have a thing right next to me: Dr. J, Mike Schmidt, Reggie White,
yep.
Bobby Clark. They won. Not Reggie White, but
Well, Reggie did win one, just not
yeah,
here.
yeah. Phils are going to be a smidge better than last, but we still have no starting pitching besides Nolan Wheeler. Bullpen and our hitting is sus.
How's our hitting sus? We have one of the best lineups in baseball.
Yeah, I think our hitting is fine. I think it's been fine for the last 3 years. I think our pitching is. I
I
think
think our pitching just let us down, but I think our pitching's gonna be better there this year. We got some flamethrowers in the bullpen. We don't know what they are until the season, but I think they're gonna be good.
Yeah, same. I don't think the hitting is an issue. I don't
No.
think it ever was. I think health.
Yeah, health was the reason that he slacked off a little bit last year. I remember I think Harper was out a couple games last year, and
Harper,
Hoskins was
Realmuto,
out some games. So, yeah,
I mean, I think we kind of know where Andrew Knapp sits with, our pitching rotation days. He usually does catch Eflin. I'm sure he'll
yeah,
catch Moore or whoever that fifth starter is going to be.
and Andrew Knapp was actually pretty good last year as a backup catcher.
He was hitting.
And that's the one thing that Joe Girardi is very underrated with. He knows how to develop catchers.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't he one himself?
Yeah, he was. Is he on the Hall of Fame? I know he's a very good catcher. He was a very good catcher, but
Yeah.
he's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame for coaching for sure.
Oh, for sure. I think, yeah, he's up there in wins already.
Yeah.
Manager. Again, as I said earlier, we have great coaches in this city that have been there and know what it takes to win.
Yeah.
And, that's big. Winning starts with the coach sometimes. And I know it's not like, you need you obviously need players. You need good talent. But we do. We have Harper. We have Embiid. We have good players with the Flyers. CahtahHatt, Hart, Hayes, Provorov. You have good players.
Yeah.
it just takes that guy to give you that push. Like,
Well,
I
and
know
that was the
I've
thing.
been there
You
before.
saw it with the Sixers last year. They had no motivation on the road at all. What, they win 2 games all year on the road or something like that?
It was horrible.
It was
Yeah.
terrible. They would lose to crappy teams on the road. Like,
I couldn't tell you the amount of times we lost to like the Hawks last year.
it's like, why? You should blow out this team.
Yeah. Like when it comes down to the team that beats us the most as a bad team, the Hawks come to mind first because that's the team that we struggled with under Brett Brown for years.
Cavs too.
Cavs, yeah.
Now we're still struggling with them now, but
Yeah.
that's what it is.
I don't know what it is about those Cavs. They beat everybody.
They do. Didn't they beat the Nets one night
Twice,
too?
back to back. They beat the Nets. They beat us. They beat Boston. They beat Miami. They've beaten the Bucks. The Bucks
Better hope they don't
lost
get in the
yesterday.
playoffs. Better hope they don't get in the playoffs. It might be a problem.
Because they'll be the 8th seed.
Yeah.
And make us go to like 6 games or something for no reason at all.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, I think we could beat every team though.
Yeah.
I don't see why we would.
I don't even feel like I'm being biased when I say that either, because I legitimately think the way they're playing right now, they're one of the better teams in the league for sure.
They have the chemistry. They truly do. Their chemistry is unmatched.
Yeah.
With a lot right now. And Dwight Howard is a great leader. Danny Green, we're just a very good team. I don't know what it is, but we're a very good team.
Yeah. They're putting it all together and it really feels like they're a championship team this year. They didn't feel like it to me when they had Jimmy Butler. Like, I felt like they were close, but to me I didn't feel like, oh, this is a championship team. Right now it feels like, yeah, we can go to the finals. I don't know if we can beat the Western Conference. I really don't, but they'll definitely be competitive.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I say all the time to my friends. I think this team would beat that Jimmy Butler team.
Yeah, I think so too. I said that earlier on TikTok. I'm like, this team's better than that Jimmy Butler team.
Yeah. We have everything.
More depth. We have more depth.
More depth. Sure. And, that Brett Brown would lose to Doc Rivers every single time.
He'd get outcoached by Lloyd Pierce.
Yeah, literally. His assistant, he got outcoached.
Yeah.
And Brett was gifted with a great team. Multiple great teams.
I don't know why they kept him around so long.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I mean, we were blessed that Doc Rivers came to us. Really. I mean, I remember making a video and saying, like, yo, like, if Doc Rivers comes to the Sixers, like, it brings out the best Tobias. It brings back, that big man, that Rajon Rondo and Simmons, that shooter and whoever. And then, like, I ended the video. I look at my phone, and Doc Rivers is the head coach. I was like, oh, my God. Like, we have a chance. Like, we have a legit chance this year.
Yeah. Well, I remember hearing on WIP when Morey got released. He said something to the effect that he wants to come to a team in the East, and they were like discussing teams. I'm like, he's coming to the Sixers.
Yeah.
And then about a week and a half later, we got him. I was like, this is great.
It's a very nice knowing feeling that we have some of the best in their sport at coaching, at general managing.
I trust these guys too.
Exactly.
Like, sure, I was a little upset at the George Hill trade, but I trusted Morey that he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Like, same thing with Dombrowski. He came in and immediately we made moves.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And Chuck Fletcher, he's in that little rough patch this year, but he has a great player a great coach in Lane Vigneault that knows what we need.
Yeah.
He's there every day. These guys will get it figured out, whether it's the coaches or whether it's the GM.
And it's weird too, because even though Howie keeps screwing up, for some reason I still trust him. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm blinded. Like, I feel like most of his trades are pretty good. He just needs to pick the right guy. And I don't know if part of that's because of Laurie's telling him to pick the wrong guy. But that's his biggest flaw. Like, usually free agents he's pretty good with, and trades he's pretty good with. It's the picking the draft pick is the problem.
Yeah. I mean, the guys are there. We just keep not taking them.
Yes. Just like take the guy that's there in front of you. Stop trying to outsmart people.
Exactly.
Justin Jefferson. You take Justin Jefferson last year, we probably made the playoffs.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
He led the rookie. I mean, he broke a record.
When's the last time we had a 1,000-yard receiver?
Yeah. Like
before 2017, at least. Because they didn't have one in 2017. I know Ertz had it one year, but wide receiver wise.
Wide receiver. When was the last time that the Eagles had a 1,000-yard receiver?
Jeremy Maclin?
Yeah, Maclin. That's who came to mind. Maclin, Deshaun. I know Matthews never did.
Matthews was I think 20 yards off one season.
Yeah, he might have been close, but I mean, I'll look it up right now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the last time the Eagles, I'll look up Jeremy Maclin first.
It may have been Deshaun.
Yeah, 1,300 yards in 2014. Maclin had it, and then he had an 1,000-yard season in KC the very next year. That was in 2014. So we're still we're still seasons away.
Yeah. And now, I mean, obviously, an 1,000-yard receiver doesn't mean you're going to win a Super Bowl because it'll be 2017. But it would be nice to have that one guy for Jalen Hurts to rely on, or even a couple guys. Like, they don't have to be superstars. They just need to be able to catch the football for him and get open.
Yeah, we have nobody that can catch a ball.
And this draft class is very deep in receiver, just like it was last year. So I'm fine with them taking a receiver in the second round and taking defense in the first. You just because you draft Kyle Pitts doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, Deshaun did it in 2013.
Okay, so they had back-to-back.
Back-to-back, yeah. I'll look up Jordan Matthews. I doubt it, but
no, I think he had 980 something one year.
Oh, he missed it by 3 yards in 2014.
3 yards, 997, yeah.
But I don't know if we've had one since Maclin.
Ertz 1 year, but that was so.
Yeah, I mean, this team's gonna they're gonna struggle this year, and I'm not expecting anything big from the Eagles. I'm not.
No.
But
what you want to see is you hope a guy has a breakout year, like how the Jaguars had that James Robinson who had over 1,000 yards, or you get a receiver who breaks out or something. Because even Miles Sanders, I mean, he should be approaching top 10 running back right now, and he can't stay on the field. He needs to have a 1,000-yard season running on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he can't do what Josh Jacobs does every year.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think Miles Sanders is better than Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, so he just needs to be on the field and
get the same touches as him.
Yeah, and they should give him more touches, especially if they have Jalen Hurts at quarterback. I don't want him throwing the ball as much as Carson Wentz did.
He can't be throwing the ball 40 times a game.
No, he's not that type of
quarterback. Sanders should get 20-something touches a night.
Yeah.
And, I think, that was a big issue for the Eagles last year. They didn't give Sanders enough touches.
Well, and that hurts the passing game too. You stop running the ball, the passing game was worse. The games they ran the ball well with Carson Wentz under center, they played pretty well. And Carson Wentz was more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, we had big runs from Sanders all year. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. We saw what Sanders is capable of. He's capable of a big break run whenever.
The thing that bothered me with Sanders a little bit is, he would have that big break run and then disappear.
Yeah. He would do 2-yard carries, 3-yard carries for the next 20 plays.
Yeah. And that just, I mean, I don't need him to break a big one every single play, but 3 or 4 yards instead of losing 3 would help.
Yeah, definitely. But we will see with this Eagles team, definitely. And I'm excited for the draft. It's almost a month. I think it's exactly a month away.
Yeah, that would be
So
fun for sure.
we will definitely see what
Definitely be
happens.
the show for sure too.
So hopefully we don't draft somebody that can't play like we have done for the last couple of years.
Well, and that's something they need to hope for too. Is that sure Rager wasn't the right pick there, but we gotta hope he's something, at least a wide receiver too.
Yeah, I've lost all faith in JJ at this point.
Yeah, he's well, they never used him right, but
yeah, I mean if he wants to be your jump ball guy, go ahead.
Use him like Kyle Pitts. You talk about Kyle Pitts, use JJ like Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
at the goal line.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, just throw it up to him.
Yeah. We need a running back who can move the chains. Yeah, sure. Go sign a guy like Jordan Howard. Get him back in here.
Why not? Who knows how long Boston Scott has left in the NFL?
Yeah.
I think he's a solid player, but
maybe you draft one in the 4th or 5th round this year.
Yeah.
Running backs come out of nowhere. I'm not spending the 1st round pick on a running back, that's for sure.
No. If they do that, I mean there's something seriously wrong with this team.
Yeah. If they draft ETN at 12, I'm done.
Oh, dude. Don't even put that thought in my head. I mean, if that actually happens,
if that happens, I'm ending the stream. I'm done. I'm just like, all right.
I mean, I would be out. I would be like, oh my god, what is happening? Like, why are we doing this again?
I have an EDP style reaction.
Dude, I had to wait and then do my reaction video when we drafted Rager over Jefferson, and then when we drafted Jalen Hurts, I was still angry. I was like, why did we just do that?
Oh, I lost it more. I think I lost it more for the Hurts pick.
So yeah, definitely. I mean, there was like rumors that I saw on Instagram that were like, "Oh, the Eagles are taking Jalen Hurts at 53." I was like, "No, we're not." I was like, "Stop."
I thought it was a joke too.
And then Goodell was like, "Oh, with the 53rd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Hurts." I was like,
oh at that point, I'm like, Carson Wentz is done. That was the first thing I said. I'm like, Carson Wentz is done. I was kind of right.
I was like, no. Like, I got up and I just started freaking out. I was like, why? I was like, what is the point of this?
And then they said the Taysom Hill thing. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You draft Taysom Hill in the 2nd round.
That last year's draft was one of the worst. I mean, that was
even
bad.
the Davion Taylor pick. Like, I was okay with, but I'm like, why do you go with a linebacker who's never really played football before out of a small school? Like,
I played more varsity games than Davion Taylor did in high school.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he played like 2, and it was like on 2 weekend games. And I wasn't even like, no, dude. Like, there's like, why? What am I seeing right now?
Yeah, I like the K'Von Wallace pick. I like that one. But
yeah, same. I actually did like that pick. And I don't mind the Hightower. I don't mind the Watkins.
Yeah.
They're okay. But I think
I really like the Prince Tegawanahu pick, but he never played. He's gone.
Yeah. Didn't we trade him? Or cut him?
Gone. He's cut. Goodbye.
This team, man. This team is a mess.
He has potential too. Like,
Yeah, we finally drafted a player from like a known school. Like, like we drafted a guy from TCU,
Colorado,
Oklahoma. Okay, I can see, but he was a quarterback, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
And then you drafted K'Von Wallace from Clemson. That was good. I was like, okay, like he's a good player. He's a 4-year starter, safety. He can be good.
Yeah.
And then you drafted like Quez. And he was like, I don't even know where he was at.
Some Midwest school.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, like what? And then we drafted
Hightower was Boise State, which isn't necessarily a big school either.
Yeah, it's just known for that blue field that they have. I mean, that's all the reason why I knew them. and then you had like an Auburn in Driscoll, and
That's a
then
good pick. Yeah, I think he's going to be a decent player. I like Driscoll.
yeah, but like it's just a reoccurring theme here. Like, why do we draft players that aren't from big schools? And I don't need a big school guy every time. I
No.
don't. But like, you passed up on an Ole Miss guy.
LSU wide receivers are like almost certain to be good players.
Dude,
like every single time an LSU
insane.
wide receiver is picked, they wind up being a good player.
All of them.
And you pass on them every single time. It's like
Every time.
Justin Jefferson's there right in front of you, and you're like, nope, goodbye.
Dude, I was like,
what?
God. And then TCU. I was like, dude, no, TCU.
I would have been fine with T. Higgins in that pick. I would have been fine with pretty much anybody except for Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, too early. You could have literally gotten him probably in the second round. You literally could have gotten him with the 53rd overall pick.
Yeah, but then how you might have to draft Jalen Hurts with the 3rd round pick instead. That's what pissed me off about Jalen Hurts too. They've reached on him.
Yeah, you could have gotten your 1st and 2nd round pick where you got your 2nd and 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
And you could have gone Jefferson.
Yeah.
Now Jefferson with Reagor, that's solid.
Yeah.
It doesn't take as much, it doesn't put as much as pressure on Reagor. It's on Jefferson. And Jefferson has been in the spotlight. He won a championship, a national championship, scoring like twice or 3 times. Like, he was a beast that entire season, and you passed on him.
Yeah.
And, it's happened before. You reach with these guys. Sidney Jones was another one. You could have had Dalvin Cook, and you reached on Sidney Jones.
Didn't like that pick for sure.
I mean, it's just.
I don't blame them for not taking Metcalf because of the injury thing.
Yeah, I mean that's
bother me as much.
One that I understood, but then again, you look at all the other guys that went. AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin. I mean, these are solid, like great receivers in this league. They all could be top 12.
Does this have to do with the Eagles just can't develop receivers, or because I mean these guys obviously have talent. Like Jalen Reagor, sure, maybe he's not a 1st round pick, but he's a 2nd round pick, and he should have produced a lot more than he did.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
same thing with J-Jaw.
But
it is what it is.
I mean, hopefully with Sirianni, we develop a run game because, you had 3 great running backs in Indianapolis, and, you were a big part of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get Jalen Hurts in check. Hopefully you just run better plays. Just run plays that these guys were made to run. There's no reason why Jalen Reagor shouldn't be getting a screen pass once every quarter. No reason why you should not be giving this guy a screen pass 5 to 10 times a game.
And even Dallas Goedert, when they ran the tight end screen with him, oh man, was he good.
Yeah. Put your big bodies out there and tell them to go block.
Yeah.
You have JJ Arcega-Whiteside. You have him locked up at this point. I mean, you can't get nothing. You're not going to get anything from him.
No.
Put him on the field and make him block, because that is the one thing that he is.
He can block very well. That's why I'm saying maybe they do move him as a hybrid tight end a little bit.
Look, I mean, go ahead. I mean, if he gets on the field, go ahead. It's better than wasting a 2nd round pick.
Because, I mean, he can actually – honestly, he's built kind of like Trey Burton.
Yeah. I've seen what he can do. We saw he scored a touchdown against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Great catch. I mean, did he drop the one against the Lions? Of course. Yeah, he did. But it's your 3rd NFL game, dude. And that's another thing. I think people kind of put the narrative on him that he can't catch a football, and it got in his head and kind of turned him around.
The problem was he was such a short-handed receiver in college.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing we said. He can catch. He's solid. He's Alshon Jeffrey's replacement. Yeah, well, Alshon started dropping the ball too, so maybe he is Alshon's replacement.
Yeah. Look, if Sirianni can figure out some stuff in this offense, go ahead, because we need it. I mean, you can't just keep wasting these picks like this.
Yeah.
You cannot waste Jalen Rager's career. You cannot waste, JJ, I think Whiteside at this point, he might be a waste, but try to get something out of him.
Yeah.
Make him block
Well,
on
and
those screenplays.
you got to put Fulgham out there too.
Yeah,
Fulgham's got to play. Fulgham's still got a lot of potential. If he can get something out of him, do it.
Harper hit a home run.
Let's go. I gotta watch that replay now.
It's 6-2, 375. This Phillies team's gonna be fun. I know we keep switching topics here, but I mean, news just keeps happening.
And we're gonna have to do a lot of these shows then.
I'm down. I mean, for sure. If good news keeps happening during,
hopefully we're reporting on a championship at some point.
Hopefully we're live streaming from a parade at a championship, going crazy, and hopefully it's
Philly sports social media parade.
Dude, we would just have to find somewhere to go and just start going crazy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go. I would, if the Sixers won, I would probably cry. I would be so happy.
Yeah,
down.
I mean, well, the first thing I did when the Eagles won the Super Bowl was drive to Dick's, and I got myself the championship hat. But,
I was in Philly while it happened, so
yeah,
I was at my cousin's house.
Yeah, I live in Monaco, so I wasn't anywhere near the city, but I kind of wish I was.
Yeah, do you go down for to games a lot?
A decent amount. I mean, this year I can't go to too many because they're expensive as hell, but I'm going April 17th to the Phillies game, but don't have really too much besides that. I want to go to more Sixers games, but they're just expensive, man.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. I mean, everything's kind of expensive right now. I mean, it's nice to go, but I'm not trying to spend $100 on every Phillies game or every Wells Fargo game that I go to this year.
And I mean, it's not the same being there this year either. It'll be interesting once they get more capacity, but like the Sixers game was kind of boring, not gonna lie.
Yeah, the Phillies this year will be decent, I think. I mean,
I think so.
You're outside, you have 20,000 fans. It's going to help, definitely.
Yeah,
especially because baseball in general really just unfortunately isn't what it used to be, where the Citizens Bank was sold out every game for 6 years straight.
True.
I mean,
20 is about what they got on most nights anyway.
Yeah, I mean 22,000. That's a normal night, and I will take that. You fill the seats instead of having that standing room where, that little standing place in center field. That's where I stood a lot.
Yeah.
You take away that, you fill the seats, and you're gonna have. It's gonna look like a normal day at the ballpark. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
But I'm definitely excited. Definitely. Hopefully with more fans. Hopefully we can go catch a game one time. I'm always down, definitely.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm down for anything. So
yeah, I know. El Parcero, Philly Sports Guy, King Kyle, we're all planning to go to an Eagles game. So get everybody from Philly Sports. That would be pretty cool. I gotta see I saw that. I'm tempted to rent a suite at the Phillies.
Phillies.
Yeah. If we get, because honestly, it's $1,200 and there's like 8 people, which once you divide that, it's not too terrible. It's like 150 per person.
A little under 200. So
so that's doable, especially if we have a suite and we can. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not, man. So I mean, whatever happens, I'm always down to do something Philly sports related. Why not? I mean, what else am I doing?
Facts.
Just work, YouTube, and watching games is pretty much what I do at this point.
Yes, sir.
But yeah.
All right. Well, see you next week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean.
All right, Matt.
All right. So everybody, this will be hopefully an every week thing with me and my boy CahtahHaht. With that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in for the last 2 hours and 30 minutes. Thank you all so
Yes,
much for
sir.
watching. Now I'm out. Peace.